The whole crew is here, guys. The whole team.
Yep.
Look at all these white guys. Look at us.
This is gonna be a 4-hour talk fest. That's what this is gonna be.
We got Valheim to play. Can't do that.
Press start.
Well, let's start episode 147. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. This is hopefully for some of you at least, you get some time off here between these big holidays. I know that I do, which is great. The problem is I'm hosting family and packing up for a move, so it's not the most relaxing, but at least it's time off of work. That's still good. But we got everybody here. Kyle, Jeff, Derek, Dan, myself. We're going to talk about 2023, a little preview before we get into Game of the Year debates here in a couple of weeks. Actually, starting next week, we'll start those. We have some new games to talk about. We've been playing some new movies. One in particular that dropped. That's everyone's talking about. It's going to win Oscar for Best Movie of the Year. We know that for sure.
Nobody's talking about this.
And I know we'll talk about
the guy who directed the movie talks about it quite a bit.
Yeah, he's like,
well, he has to. He dedicated 13 freaking years to making it. I mean,
he's gonna host his own.
If he was like, I don't want to talk about that.
He's gonna have his own award show.
Yeah, but the things that he's choosing to talk about with this movie is very weird. Yeah,
it's like he's like pre-apologizing and pre-defending it.
Sorry.
It has a chance to do anything at the box office.
I mean, he might just kill himself. He seems like he's like, if this doesn't make $37 trillion,
it's not much to cut short. It's not much to cut short. So you might as well just see it all the way through. You know,
this is it. This is his swan song.
I mean, if this doesn't make $37 trillion, then he's
it's actually the real number.
I remember him saying, "Oh, and the fifth movie we're going to go to Earth," and I'm like, "Do that now."
Someone I remember where it's like
I'm more interested to see what Earth is like now. Like
I heard something like in episode 4, Natiri really finds like out more about humans. I'm like, okay, like he's giving little nuggets of. Anyways, Avatar talks later, guys. I'm sorry.
Does Will Smith show up in that fifth Avatar movie, Jeff? Does Will Smith show up?
Fifth Avatar movie?
Yeah, or when they go to Earth, does
they
he
go to
show
Earth and he's like, "Welcome to Earth."
Welcome to Earth, and he slaps them
in the line. They all line up, and he just runs and slaps them across the face.
That's how it works.
I'm actually back in on Avatar.
I would watch it.
I'm back in.
Well, let's actually kick things off with some new games we're playing. Then we're going to preview 2023. That's the order I'd like to go in, just to make sure folks who are tuning in might see that we're going to talk about High on Life and Crisis Core. So I want to make sure we talk about those at the top, right out of the gate, get our thoughts on those, and any other new games that have released if you want to touch on those. And then we'll circle back later in the show to like other things you're playing. Like I'm catching up on stuff I finally am starting to play, but we'll circle back to that if there's time later. So let's kick it off with stuff we're playing now. I want to start with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I'm not playing this one yet. A couple of you are. I know that. This is one that people are excited about. This is a PSP game, right?
Yep.
It was, yes.
PSP game. And so now it's finally getting the at least modern, I don't know if it's a full upgrade. You guys can tell me, but it's getting the modern treatment.
Mixture, right? It's like a mixture of remake, like it's like remake visually, but like a remastered, like as far as what the game is.
Yeah.
Well, the gameplay is, well, I mean, it played like that, but they did redo some things for the gameplay. It feels more like remake to me. With the combat and everything. Definitely. It's more modern. But like the cutscenes and the dialogue and some of the voice acting is very like, hey, this is old.
Which is funny because the voice acting is actually new. So
right. That's what I was going to say.
It feels very old.
It is. It does feel dated. Yeah.
I think the actual
dialogue.
It's
just the fact that it's the dialogue. Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same script. Nothing changed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the voice actors. Like Zach's voice actor is different, which like all the super like whiny Final Fantasy fanboys are like very upset about it. Cause I like his old voice.
I don't like change.
To be fair, I do like his old voice better.
Sure. But you know.
To be fair, but I'm not complaining about it. I actually don't care. You know, it's so low on my radar of things I care about for this game.
Yeah. Dan, what are your thoughts on this thing? I know that Kyle and Dan, I should stop just saying Dan. Kyle and Dan are resident Final Fantasy.
You can have Final Fantasy. I don't need it.
Mega fans.
Actually,
I know Derek and I have played. Derek and I have played most Final Fantasy games, so Derek and I are also fans of the franchise. But I usually default to you guys.
I am a fan of remake.
I'm
there you
more
go.
like obviously I want Dan to talk about it. He is the fanboy.
Well,
But
actually,
I'm
hold
more
on,
of like
hold on, real
a
quick. I
fanboy
haven't even
of
popped it in, just so you guys know. I haven't even
You
popped
haven't
it.
played it?
more. You
Oh.
haven't played it?
Fake fan.
Well,
I'm more of a
played it
fanboy
recently,
of the more
so.
modern
You know what?
Final Fantasy.
I
Okay.
am the Final Fantasy person now after that. Dan just totally
No,
flubbed this.
no.
Me too,
Yeah.
apparently. Me too.
Are you saying I played Final Fantasy 7 or whatever this is called?
Yeah, you don't
forgetting,
even know what it's called.
Reunion,
Final Fantasy 7
more
Crisis
than
4
you, and I
Reunion.
played like 30 minutes?
Guys,
I
this
mean,
is something that I learned about Derek a long time ago. He buys so many games. He doesn't remember the names of which ones, what platforms they're on. He'll rebuy them 2-3 times. Like,
I have The
the thing.
Witcher 3 on all 3 platforms.
Exactly. See?
I'm actually most curious about a specific. So Jeff, for me, is the most interesting to get the information from because Jeff is completely
Oh.
new to like 7 and Final Fantasy as a whole. So I'm curious what he thinks.
But
in
he
for-
hates Japanese people,
This game.
so he's
That's
kind
not-
of irrelevant.
How dare you?
Don't put that in the
You're-
recording.
you're-
How
irrelevant.
dare you? Gomen no sai. Onegashi gozaimasu.
He's
Funny.
like the only one who can
Derek,
speak it.
Derek saying things at inappropriate times when people are listening. That's interesting, right?
Mm.
Right, Jeff?
One of those is sorry, I think. Gomen no sai, I think, is sorry. Anyway,
Hi, that's what I know. Hi.
everything
but no,
Derek
I have-
said is actually accurate. I don't disagree with anything he said. The combat feels like remake, and that's what I love the most about it.
Yeah.
It is more. I had to ask in the chat, and Kyle clarified for me. I was like, so this isn't like an open area, like you kind of are free to roam around type thing. They're kind of guiding you. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm cool with that experience because the combat's just so fun. I don't care.
Mhm.
So I love the combat, but yeah, everything Derek mentioned about how some of it feels dated, some aspects feel dated, like the dialogue and the cutscenes are like they did the best they could, basically, without having to do a flat out remake.
Yeah, they didn't. They up. It's a heck of a facelift when you look at
It
it
is
side by side.
It is,
But
yeah.
you can still see the seams. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can
The
still
skeleton
see the
of
seams
what it was
its
there.
age.
I just
Yeah,
want to say
it has to be. Yeah.
how long to beat has this game as main story 11 hours. That's like awesome news to me.
Yeah,
Yes,
same. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love
It's
shorter
quick game.
experiences now.
I was going to say it was a PSP game, so that makes sense for it being a handheld experience.
got
don't want it to be
Yeah.
too-
Really, really far in the PSP game.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorite like Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
when
it's
I
good.
was
I remember
a kid.
playing that game when it first came out and going like, "Wow, I can't believe I'm playing this handheld." Like it was one of those like kind of
Yeah.
like achievements of being able to bring something that played at that time and looked
Yeah.
so good on a system so small. You know.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I can
my,
see that if it looks remotely close to how it does in this remaster on a handheld, I could totally see being impressed by that. Just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
especially 'cause-
confined to that. It's designed for the handheld.
You know, we're talking about the
Like-
throwback time of the 3DS and the 2DS and the DS. Like this isn't
Yeah.
the PS Vita. You know, this is an old system on the PSP. So like it just
Yeah.
you know it looked pretty good for its time and it looks fine now. I'm more interested or kind of blown away by how it controls because like I was saying in the chat, it was like it's like 9 to 10 frames per second on the PSP. You can feel it. It's 6. I think it's 60. If it's not, it's 30. You know, but like it feels faster. It feels more fluid.
Pretty sure it's 60.
I haven't run into any chugs or anything like that. You know, so it's like that feels nice. You know, to have that updated and it feels just quick and fast and stuff, which I really like.
Well, don't forget that this is one of their first, not the very first, but it's an early foray into true action RPG for this
Yeah,
franchise.
you're right.
Like there were a few, like they had Dirge of Cerberus.
Yep.
Cerberus, sorry.
That was
That was a little bit before this one. And
So-
but about the same time. This one was PS.
Ah.
that
It was all part of the same Final Fantasy
Compilation.
7. Like,
Compilation,
yeah, I forget what they called
yeah,
that.
PS2
But
Yeah, it
got
was
the Dirge
7
of Cerberus in 2006, and then the PSP got
the
Crisis.
movie came
2007.
out, you know, like it was all around the same time.
2008.
Yeah.
was
So
before
it's just
Crisis.
it's just interesting to see like how this is one of their early forays into action, and now most of their games
That's where we are now. Yeah.
franchise are very
Yeah. Good
action
point.
heavy.
It's a good point.
So just to and the main reason why, because again, I'm still trying to finish Ragnarok. I'm actually in a whole separate area that I wasn't even anticipating going into, and I'll leave it at that. I was like,
You're
oh,
in
okay,
Vanaheim. It's okay. We know you're in Vanaheim.
well, I didn't want to like say it for anybody else, but yeah, it's
Because
like,
that
oh,
is the largest.
I was like,
that
what is
the
this?
largest side quest area.
Well,
You're like,
Vanaheim
holy
has
crap,
one of those
dude.
moments.
Yeah.
Actually, has several of them where you pull out a little string. We're not talking God of War, but real quick, you pull out a string, and all of a sudden, this whole thing unravels. This huge
Yeah.
area opens up, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, all right." And then you can
Yeah.
find another corner of that, and you pull it down. And you're like, "Oh, there's another. Okay, cool. More sub areas in here."
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
It's insane.
Well, it's because you literally are on the boat and you go down this little path, and then
Little
like
path.
Yeah, this little path, and then
Uh-huh.
like something happens, and you're suddenly in this like wide open area. You're like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
but yeah, that's why
I mean, it's not
that's
as
why
insane as I assume that Elden Ring is. Whenever you would discover a whole side quest that would
Sure.
take 5,
But you know what, Jeff? It's the
7
same
hours
feeling.
to
It's the
do.
same. It's the
But
same.
for
like,
me, it's that feeling. Yes,
it's that
absolutely.
delight and surprise. We talk about that in
Yeah.
marketing all the time. That's a key to getting a customer to complete a purchase or to come back later. Is you delight and surprise them with something in the
Yeah, yeah.
process. And so like that's what Elden Ring did it. Legend of Zelda did it, and God of War Ragnarok. Games like that really
Yeah.
hit you. And
Ragnarok
Witcher
is
3
doing
did
it their own way. Like it's not like obviously it's not a Zelda or Elden Ring scale, but it is like
but they still did it. It
they
was great.
still managed to do it in their open area way, which is awesome.
So Dan, are you going to be playing this over Christmas? Then you think is this your next
yeah.
one?
Well, so I have this coming week off, so I'll definitely have Ragnarok finished.
Gotcha.
So then I'll jump into this. I'm obviously very familiar with what this is. Like I beat it back in the day. I know what the story is. I know
Okay, gotcha.
who Zach is. I know who NG
You weren't like
is.
desperate to find out what happens.
Yeah,
when
like
you
I know. Yeah, I'm curious after you beat the game if there's anything extra. I'm
Dan,
curious.
tell us why Zach's not in Final Fantasy VII.
I will.
This
I
is
will
a
not.
prequel.
I will not say.
Tell me
Yeah,
why.
Tell
my
me
thing
why.
is like this is gonna
Tell
like
me
ruin
why.
some stuff for Jeff, right? Like this is like
Yeah,
there's
well,
gotta
that's
be
why-
some spoilers.
It's an
That's
old
fine.
game though. That's on me, not
Well,
y'all.
no, but hold
No,
on.
no, no,
that-
no, no. But like
Yeah.
that,
Hold
just
on.
in terms of like him being the new person, playing it out of order.
Well, no. So for Jeff, though, it's interesting because Jeff hasn't played OG7.
Right.
Jeff finished remake.
So I
and-
saw Zach in the spoiler
Right.
remake. I guess I saw him, so I know who he is from that little clip
Right.
of the game.
But this
Like
is
an
why
after credit sequence.
this
it's
is
fine.
why and obviously if you don't, that's not a big deal. You do what you want to do. But I wish you would. I do wish you would play OG7 to kind of see why it's like, oh, here's some differences between that and remake, and that's why it's curious playing. If it's playing like for you having not played 7, playing Crisis Core with remake, and you're kind of you're basically missing this chunk of information about Zach from OG7 that doesn't exactly line up the same with these two games. So that's why for me it's going to be interesting to see what your perspective is because you are missing a bit of that information. But like what you're going to think of this game combined with remake, what you think of Zach, like what his deal is connecting to like that's what I'm curious about. So
Has Final Fantasy VII become the biggest sub Final Fantasy like story world? Seven
for
itself,
sure.
right?
Yeah. I think there's
Didn't mean
most
to do that.
spin-offs for sure.
Because it's just so expansive and there's so many parts. It almost like the way you were talking about Dan just now sounded a lot like Star Wars fans, including myself, who are insistent that before you watch the prequels, go watch the originals. But then I started to realize like a lot of people are going to experience these 1 through 6 and then eventually 1 through 9. Like I didn't watch them that way. Actually, I watched 6 first because that's the one my parents had on VHS when we were out of the country. That's the only one that we had. They had recorded off TV. But anyway, I watched the original trilogy, then the prequel, and then the sequel trilogy, which you would think, well, that's a dumb way to watch a thing, right? It like doesn't make much sense.
If I had to guess, like what I think I've watched 6 first as well. That's the first memory I have. Maybe I didn't watch it first, but
Yeah,
like
like
if
for-
I
when I
try
was
and summon
very
my first
young,
Star Wars
yeah.
memory, it's
I was very young. I
it's
just remember
Jedi memory.
Ewoks and stuff
Yeah,
like
same.
that. Kind of
Oh,
stuff.
I remember
surrounded by
Java.
fake fans. I'm the real Star Wars fan. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I was also watching it at the age of 3. So
Yeah, exactly. I could
That's
barely.
an early
when we're
memory.
talking
wearing
about first
diapers.
memory, it's like
Yeah.
2 years later.
That's an early
of being
memory.
exposed to it. Yeah.
I was like
Um,
lightsabers. Change my diaper.
But yeah, like obviously you can enjoy these games, and I definitely believe that. But I just for me, like personally being somebody who is really into story, it's like the not having those chunks of story of OG7, I think is important. And if you're not getting them, it is a bit of a bummer. But
I will say
again,
this: I've
still
played
can
through
enjoy it.
7 all the way through at least once, and then like whether it's with friends or like picking up an old save, I started it several other times since then.
Yeah.
I still don't. I couldn't like stream for you together the entire story of that game. Like I would miss huge chunks of it. I know like the gist. I know the
Sure.
broad strokes. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah.
that I would. I'm not sure that it's hitting me any more impactfully because I played it all the way through. But maybe I would have had to play it recently or something. But
Yeah,
or-
well, also I've played it I've played that game front to back like over 20, 30 times.
You're a
So
fanboy. You know everything
That's too
in and out.
much. That's too many
it's
things.
not enough, Kyle. It's not
The other
enough.
thing is like Dan, if you've got a recommendation for like, because I'm not sure that I would have time to go back and replay it, even if I wanted
Like
to. It's just such a
video
long
breakdown?
game. Yeah, is there a good like video
okay.
summary out there? Maybe you could.
Not that I'm aware of.
Truthfully, you can
I would-
actually play the game pretty quickly just because the modern versions of it let you fast forward
forward,
through everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can
But I'm
actually
sure
make the enemies not be able to hurt you, so
Yeah.
you can literally not die.
you could basically have limit break infinite. You can not die. Like you could
You're
plow
still
through that
talking
game
about a
pretty quick.
30-hour game though.
It's still
chunky.
going to be lengthy. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
if honestly,
Chomp.
if you guys were interested, I could say, or I mean, I'm sure you guys could find it too. But yeah, I'm not familiar myself of a specific video, but I'm sure that absolutely is like
I'm
one
sure there's
that's
gotta
lots of
be.
them. I just want a
bullet
good one. You know what I
points.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Is
yeah.
there
sometimes
is there a
there's
pitch
one
meeting
like
on it? I just want to watch a pitch meeting.
Yeah,
version
5
of it.
minutes
I'll,
in and out.
I'll find you. I'll make you a PowerPoint presentation. I'll make you a PowerPoint.
Let's do that.
I always
Yeah.
get fascinated by the guys that will break down games like that. And I watched one. I watched Bayonetta.
Yeah, I
One
watched
guy
that
broke
too.
down
Yeah.
the first 2 Bayonettas,
Yeah.
and he took like 30 or 40 minutes.
That's too
But
long.
I watched the whole thing. 'cause I
What a
was like, dude,
nonsense
this
storyline
guy
those games have.
knows
Bayonetta.
everything.
Yeah, listen,
his
they go
synopsis
hard,
of
but it's
the
interesting.
story
Yeah.
They're
is
interesting, but they're
longer
not.
than
It's
the video
nonsense.
Well,
It
what's
also
that,
made me mad watching that video. Made me mad at myself for not just playing 2 because 2 stories sounds so
Dude.
good.
2's such a
awesome.
good game too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert! I think I actually like 2 as a game better than 3. But we'll get to that with Game of the Year
I
stuff.
do too.
I
Um,
played
I think-
maybe an hour of
I
3,
think most
so.
people do at this rate because of how, how people are not talking about 3 the way they did 2.
Yeah.
You know.
Still great though. We'll get
Reviewing
on that.
as good as 3 or 2 was, but
Yeah.
I think the
Or
word
at
of
least
mouth.
close to it.
I don't know. If
Yeah,
people
word of
have not
mouth
got-
isn't as strong.
I just haven't. I don't know if people are just not getting to it because it just came out in a really busy season, or
Horrible
maybe-
released window.
maybe people
That
got to it
would
and they don't
be
love it.
My
you know?
issue. If the game came out sooner, I would have played through it. But I've got
I-
a gazillion
I
games.
did the same thing with 2 that I'm doing with 3, where like I started it and then a year later came back to it and beat 2.
That's
you know?
Yeah.
So it's
exactly
like,
what I'm
I
going
did the
to
same
do.
thing with and that
guys
I
will
did the
play
same
it
thing with
next year.
Nier Automata. Like it's just my platinum games have to hit me in a mood. Like I have to be in a mood for them. You know?
that's true.
because they're
I think
very
I think both.
zany and weird and wacky and
especially
stuff like that.
Automata.
So like yeah, I think every platinum game ever except for Metal Gear Revengeance, I think I like put a year
That's what-
between me and
yeah.
launch. Yeah.
I get that. There's actually a new game that came out this week that I'm like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this. Oh, well, that's a bummer. I'll go back to
Yeah.
it. But
I
All
just
I did was
like
talk about
how-
Bayonetta 3 all month in October, and then it came out, and I'm like,
Oh.
I'll get to it.
I noticed a pattern with me. Like I buy everything, so I own like
Same,
a ton
same.
of these games day one, and I love owning them, so I don't regret doing it. I don't care. But I just think it's funny. It's almost like my personality gets overwhelmed and can't pick one. So it's like, I guess I'll just play Death Stranding. You know, I haven't played that
Yeah.
in 3
I do
years.
that all the time.
I should probably try to
Jumping in,
beat
right?
that game.
Yeah.
It's like,
in the
dude, you've
middle
got
of this
Need for
year-
Speed, you've
in the
got
middle- I did the same thing, man. I
Bayonetta,
feel
you've
you.
got Pokemon, you've got all these games, and you're like, well, let me go play something old or The Witcher 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that where I got really overwhelmed with a bunch of games like right before the summer, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play and beat Cyberpunk again.
Yeah.
Oh
Let me
yeah, and
play
then
this
I finished
45-hour
Mass Effect
experience.
it's
2.
like
you know?
that's me and Tim with the Spider-Man games. We're like,
Yes.
God, there's
And
so
I did that
much
earlier
to play.
in February.
I'll just do Spider-Man a fourth time.
I beat
Why not?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did that a lot.
Yeah,
I've
Jeff.
actually replayed a lot of old games this year and beat them.
Yep.
So
Well, I
Grand Theft
also
Auto
have.
5,
That's actually that's a good another topic for a different podcast, like our comfort food games. Like, what do you retreat
Oh, I
to
love
when you
that.
kind of get overwhelmed or just need an
Final
escape, but
Fantasy
you don't?
VII.
And
love
so
that.
could be that. Like Valheim's a good example. Vampire Survivors, even like solitaire on your phone. Like, what are the things that you're just like, I'm just going to default to this because I just need to take a break and I don't feel
Love
like plugging in totally to something. And I get that. All right, another game came out this week on Game Pass, and that is High on Life, brought to you by the Rick and Morty creators, right? Writers, both.
Yeah.
Just one. Just Justin
just,
Roiland.
Just Justin Roiland. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was had a partner or someone. Okay,
he
so
does,
does.
Dan
He
Harmon,
does
but he
Rick
has
and
nothing
Morty,
to do
yeah.
with this game. Yeah.
Got it. So this is just Justin. Okay.
Dan didn't want to hear him talk anymore. Please shut up. I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I missed
It's
it.
just like you.
Dan Harmon, not Dan.
Oh, I
Dan
was
on
like,
the show.
Oh,
what was with the sick burn? What did Dan do? He's just
yeah. I
wearing a
was like,
sweater.
did I miss something? Did Dan flip him off when we were talking just now?
No, if you play the game, Justin Roiland doesn't shut the fuck up. He's just
No,
talking
he
the whole
doesn't.
time.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
So
definitely
I'm
doesn't.
saying Dan Harmon wants nothing to do with it because he's like, I've heard him
Yeah.
talk enough.
Yeah, that's probably true. Now, how many?
It's very-
I've played through the first boss. Anybody else played it for a little while?
I'm
Yeah,
a
I
little
played-
I'm a little further into the second level for the
I
second
played the
boss.
first where you got to take out the first,
Bounty.
contract.
Yeah,
yeah,
you get a
War
knife.
of 9 or
yeah.
something like that.
That's not very long,
I'm just
right?
past that part.
Yeah, there's like
Uh,
there's 8 bosses, and each level has varying degrees of exploration in them. So you're gonna want to look around a lot.
Yeah, because when did it come out? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, people are already wrapping it up.
yeah,
People are
Jackie
wrapping
and
up.
the,
It's like 10 hours. Yeah.
Jackie and the group finished it. I think in
Yep.
like 2 days. So
she loved it.
yeah, she
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's
my
some people
first-
that are coming down like they freaking love this game, and I don't blame them. I really don't. It's
My first take on this is on the PC at least. I was having some stuttering issues. Now my computer isn't the newest. It was already
Yeah.
kind
It
of
has
like
nothing to do with your computer.
I know. I was gonna say that. Like
Stuttering.
I thought like, well, here we go. Another example of where it's time for me to start. And I was talking to Kyle before we recorded about how I need to maybe invest in some of that instead of things like VR2 in the future. But then I just tweaked some of the settings and then install online. There's a whole bunch of PC issues with this game. It's not just me.
Yeah.
So I did
DC
some
Master
tweaking.
Race. Woo!
I know.
You guys are having a great year.
Especially Witcher 3's new update. Man, it's doing really well on PC.
Bruce
Woo!
has a whole stream
Woo!
called "Why is The Witcher 3 Still Broken?" and
Which
he's
is cra- yeah, which is
What's
crazy
wrong with
because
The
those
Witcher 3? I'm
on-
serious. I'm playing it on PC.
on
What are they
PC
you
doing?
are. A lot of people are as well, and they're having problems.
yeah.
Performance.
There's a lot of issues. I was having some issues with ray tracing on, even on the lowest possible
Like,
setting.
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
No,
but
no,
do not,
you're just.
do not listen to PC idiots. Those guys will complain about everything. They'll say a game.
No, this is CD Projekt
broken.
Red saying we're aware
Yeah,
of all
Well,
these
yeah,
I,
issues.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm saying in general. Don't
No,
listen
I know.
to
I know what
PC
you mean. Yeah.
gamers. They're so
Oh, okay.
stupid.
So I did have some issues, but made a couple tweaks to the settings, and then
Yeah.
Jeff also
Did you-
recommended I turn on VSync, and I did that. Turn off motion blur. Those things did help.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did because I noticed it right away as soon as I gained control of the dude in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was
oh,
like
this is
stuttery.
very laggy and stuttery.
Yeah.
So I immediately turned off motion blur and turned on VSync. And I
Yeah.
think I lowered everything to medium because that's just the sweet spot for my card. So like after that, it's been running really smooth.
Yeah,
For me.
yeah.
You're
Same
playing
here. I
at
put everything in.
4K or
Yeah,
1440p. Okay, 4K.
So, but overall, I think the game actually looks better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, what the
looks-
hell?
I like how vibrant it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
colorful.
I'm playing it on
I
the
like
series.
that it made Derek say the word vibrant. I never thought I'd hear him say that word.
I love
Yeah.
vibrant. The whole
Vibrant.
time I was playing Death Stranding, I was like, this grass is so vibrant.
It's because everything else is
Derek learned a
gray
new
and
word.
brown in that game.
He took
Kyle,
out an
you're playing on
encyclopedia.
the-
It's like,
I'm playing on the
thesaurus.
Series S right now, and I've
Yes.
seen a lot of like 4K videos of it running
Oh.
on the PC or the X, and like I was like, boy, that game looks good. Looks kind of like garbage on this.
Kyle didn't get
Oh.
the memo that
Looks
the
like
Series S is holding back everything.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I actually
Nobody
bought
should
one
ever
knowing
use
that it
it.
was holding it back, and I'm purposely holding back the whole console
So,
generation.
keep
What
going
you're
back.
saying
Yeah,
is the
it's your
Series
fault
S,
now. Yeah.
everything on the Series S is not vibrant, is what you're saying.
It looks a
Yeah.
little muddy to me. Yeah,
It's
they're-
basically standard definition. That's what I heard.
basically, yeah. It doesn't look great, but like it doesn't take away from how fun the game is for sure. But or its performance, like
Yeah,
it's
so
been
to-
pretty smooth for me.
I wasn't
so.
expecting like great visuals, but I got them. So I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
It's basically.
And
like
I
a
wished I would
version
have.
Of
That's fair.
I don't know if any of y'all watched Solar Opposites at all. It's Justin Roiland's show that he does solo without Dan Harmon, and it's on Hulu. This is basically like a 3D version of that. That's what it feels like to me. Like a lot of characters, mainly like side characters, people you run into, NPCs, look like people from Solar Opposites, look like the aliens from Solar Opposites, and they all talk like them, of course. Solar Opposites is very talky, much like Justin Roiland is, where like they're just rambling jokes at you and seeing what
Yep.
sticks.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
if you like humor of thinking of just video games, I'm sure there's plenty of shows and movies to compare it to, but just from a video game perspective, stuff like Destroy All Humans, it kind of fits that bill as well, where it's just
Yeah,
like silly,
vibes of that.
That's-
and violent.
That's just
out
how
of the gate.
comedy is, right? And especially with like the South Park games, Stick of Truth and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fractured Butthole.
Yeah. I
Uh,
haven't laughed this hard during a game since a South Park game, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, consistently, like just
Yeah, and I know comedy is super subjective and everything like that, but
Right.
like I was laughing immediately,
yeah.
and I am not. I'm sorry, Jeff. Please don't take this personally. I do not like Solar Opposites at all. I don't think it's very
Yeah.
funny to me at all.
Oh
But I
no,
love
I'm not a huge fan compared to Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah. So, and that's that. So my
Like I just watch it and I
were-
go, yeah, I laughed a couple times.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and I should probably double back because I actually do really like this, and that was my problem was like when he breaks off solo, like he's not as funny as he is in Rick and Morty. So like so you were talking about this game is getting 7s and 8s stuff like that. I remember looking at this game and like it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna get 4s and 5s. Like 100%, like no joke. And no, I'm actually having way more fun with this game than I ever thought I would. And and for me to be laughing instantaneously as the game's starting, and then I never kind of stopped or whatever. I was like, not a lot of games for me like do that because comedy is really hard to like pull off like in a video game format.
So there's, I think all the jokes that are the best are the ones that are like not even happening. I mean, they're not even like actively happening.
Well, like there's that
you.
pause
They're
thing,
happening
right?
around you. You know, like it's
like if you pause the game, he yells at it. Like there was a video, like somebody like when it was somebody dropped a video on TikTok or whatever, and it's like if you pause it and then unpause it, your little gun dude just starts like yelling at you because you paused the game.
Because you're in the middle of an alien invasion and the original owner of the gun just died, and like he's like, "Are you serious? We have to go kill people!" Like
well, and it starts off before the game even like before the game even starts.
He has to give you that like goop to like translate for you.
He's like, "Sorry, I had to spit on you. It's not very sanitary."
And he does it to your sister later, and he's like, "I don't have time to explain it again."
I love my favorite moments are the ones where you walk into a room and there's stuff already happening, and specifically it's in your house, and like that retired bounty hunter's on your couch, and he's watching just a commercial, and the commercial is just like, "Has this happened to you?" And it's just an alien going, "Oh no." Oh no, he's just
so it's like that.
It's very
like Rick and Morty
episode,
cable TV
from Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
much so.
Rick and Morty, like, oh no, it's so stupid.
I will say this. I will say this. So I do find it funny too. Like that kind of humor is working for me. It sounds like it's working for you guys. I have no issue. If someone were to say to me like, I tried it and it's so annoying. Like
same here.
I know.
That's why I keep on saying I know comedy is subjective. This type of comedy rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Same thing with Rick and Morty. There are avid Rick and Morty haters out there.
I made a post about it, like it was a joke post, but it's very true. I'm like, I already have a girlfriend. I do not need a fucking talking gun. He doesn't shut up.
He doesn't shut up
the entire time, and I'm not. Y'all are laughing. I'm not laughing at him.
He was talking about shooting a special attack out of his hole. That was really funny. But
you haven't even gotten to the there's a companion thing that you run into at a certain point in the second level. I don't know if you've gotten there yet, where he just follows you around and he's like, "Anyway, I got this going on with my girlfriend, blah 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 blah," and like he is talking non-stop, and the gun is like, I really want to shoot this guy, but he's like one of those type of enemies that like teleports, like so you can't shoot him. You just have to.
I definitely
for like 20 minutes. He's like
times, but
oh my god!
You had to like the part though when it's the red and blue guy who are guarding the gates to the sewers, and they want to know who's hotter, and they make you pick. Like, did you get to that part?
And the other one is like, "F you, F this guy."
Yeah,
but this guy's ugly as shit.
It's two gates that are identical, and either one gets you ahead. It doesn't matter. Like, it makes no difference in the game.
It's for shits and giggles.
That whole
one
sequence,
of them gets mad at you if you don't pick
and
them.
it makes you choose the dialogue.
Yeah, and they won't.
I was like, this is so dumb.
But every time you walk by them, they're still bickering about it, and it's all new dialogue every single time.
The guy's like, "Hey, you made my day. You can go through my door anytime." The guy's like, "You're never going through my door."
I hate you. Yeah,
it's the same place.
There's the last start before you even hit start in this game. Like at the very beginning of the game, when you first turn it on, it's like any glitches or issues that you come with this game are just homages from other games, so it's not our fault. And it's just like, oh, okay, like this. So it's already a self-aware, kind of like fun game. That's before you even hit start. That's like the warning, like the epilepsy warning. Instead of that, it's this, like warning, like if you experience this.
So the way I describe it is a game with a ton of personality, and for some people, they're going to think it's hilarious. And for others, the gameplay won't be strong enough for them to keep playing. They don't like
the gameplay was bad. I'm saying
it's not good enough. I'm saying it's not good enough to like keep you going if you don't like the humor. That's
if you don't like the humor, I mean, for me, I would still be interested in like playing it more. Not right now though. There's too many games. But like at some point, like I'll tell you, if I hated it, it would not be on my PC. It's still on my PC because I'm like, no, don't give up on it yet. Because I'm very harsh up front. And then if I keep playing something and I know what it is, then my expectations might lower or start to meet it where it's at. And then I'll be like, okay, this is not as annoying as it was 2 days ago. So
there's like really funny encounters. I just wanted to bring this up because it happened. There's one in the first main hub city that you're in that you teleport your house to somehow. And there's
Which
like
is
a
very
guy,
Rick and Morty,
there's
mind
a-
you. They
yeah, very
teleport
much
their
so.
house like a lot of
there's
episodes.
a guy
Yeah.
like that's like, hey, can you watch my bike? I gotta go do something. He's just a random NPC. And if you turn around a split second, the bike is gone the next time you turn around. And then the pedestrian comes back and he's like, where'd my bike go? Like he's like really mad at you.
Yeah.
It's just a random encounter.
Did you notice,
This
by
is
the way,
literally just Rick and Morty, the video
if you
game,
explore
It
your
is,
house,
yeah.
then like half of somebody didn't make the warp, and the half of their body's on the ground beside the house.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I need to look
literally
around
all
for
of
that.
this. You might as well just be describing to me a Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
literally
much.
just all it is.
There's
And there's also another part in the I'm in the second level. I'm like right before the boss fight, and there's a part where it's like you get a warp drive of some kind, and he's like, "Hey man, let's test this warp thing and get a bridge over here so you can cross this river. That's like it's like an acid river. You can't get in there." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I warp the bridge, and it's literally a bridge from another planet with cars and people in it going,
Oh,
"What the
no.
hell's going on?" And they're like
That's
all
funny.
like.
They're just suddenly on this other planet. Like, what the fuck?
And they're like, "Hey man, what happened? You like hit me with your car." And they're like yelling at each other, and it's
even
just
the beginning of
chaos.
the beginning of the game where like the guy like you're playing a game in the game and it's like hey, I'm your your divorce lawyer and yada yada, like, and he keeps on like reiterating. He's like, remember me? I'm your divorce lawyer.
Yes.
And it's just like the dialogue is just so stupid and
The
like
suit AI is so funny too.
a lot of
whenever it comes in.
redundancy. Oh yeah, I would
Dude,
tell you what
the
button to press,
divorce
but I don't
lawyer
know what
part
controller you're
did make
pressing.
me laugh. That's right. The divorce lawyer part
Yeah.
was great.
That's
was
what I'm talking about. Instantaneously, it hooked me.
it's because you
comedy-wise
play.
with
That's
that.
right. You play like this kind of Doom ripoff game at the beginning, and you're shooting all your ex-wives that are coming
Like,
to
yeah,
kill you.
your ex-wife fell in love with an alien that landed in her
But it's like
backyard,
all
and
these
she's
ex-wives
banging all of them because
Yes.
they're hive minds.
And he keeps
And
going,
I'm your
"Don't forget
divorce
about
lawyer.
me.
Let's
I'm your
get 'em."
divorce lawyer." Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
Rick and Morty. It is
Dude,
100%.
that
It's just
opening-
Rick and
Yes, that
Uh,
opening was so good. That
Yeah,
opening
and
was-
that's what caught me immediately when I go, boy, I have a story to tell you guys. I was like, because I did not think I was gonna like this game. Like, I thought the
Yeah.
trailer showed really well, but so did the VR Rick and Morty game, and like that was like a totally dumb game. So I thought it was just gonna be kind of more of that, and like it ended up being really funny, man. And there's another one. Y'all had to have run into this one, but like the kid who you meet in the sewers, and he's like,
Yes.
"Hey, you can't get by me," and you're like, "I'm gonna
Oh,
shoot
you want to
this
shoot
guy."
me, huh? I dare you.
And the
to try to
gun's
shoot
like,
me,
we're not gonna shoot a kid. That's crazy. And
But
if
then
you
you
keep
meet
on
the
trying,
mom.
you can shoot the kid. And
then
he's
you
like,
meet the
well,
mom.
usually you can't shoot kids in these types of in video games. I guess that there goes our E for everyone rating.
see,
you know,
okay,
it's
but
just it's
I
super
left- so-
hyper aware of itself. And
I left the kid alone and went down. Did you talk to the mom?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I killed him, so she was pretty banged up that I killed him.
See,
Yeah.
I didn't kill him. I went down there, and she was saying, "I'm sorry, he's so annoying. You can shoot him if you really need to. Like he's in like my husband
He's
said."
actually 30, by the way.
And
Yeah, he's not even a
and
child.
she
He's a
goes-
31-year-old
She
man.
goes, "If
yeah.
you kill him, then I'll have no more annoying family members left." Like,
Oh my god. Jeez.
Yeah,
it's like, wow.
that's pretty good.
All right, mom.
Oh
It's
my
funny,
god,
dude.
it's so
I think
dumb.
I think it's fun. Again, like I totally understand that people don't think this is funny because
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
a lot of people who are like, if you say Rick and Morty stuff in front of me, I'm gonna punch
But
you in your mouth.
I'll
It's
tell
like,
you,
all
some
right.
of the
Yeah.
That's
some of the
received, man.
exploring, and there's lots of stuff to come back to. You're like, I can't open this thing yet till I get my knife, and you come back with the knife. But the knife is
Yeah.
hilarious too, by the way. I want to gut him. I
So
want to cut him
funny.
open.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
Um,
stab
Australian
him
or something.
Stab him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stab him in the gut.
But like there's some exploration things. So if you need that itch scratched of like I gotta go explore, I gotta check every corner, like they'll reward you for a good amount of that. So even at the beginning, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it seems like they're going to introduce a number of different weapons and special
Yes.
abilities. And so it's like
Yeah.
they've really put together a pretty fun, at the very least, swimming in sevens, first person shooter
I
experience.
agree. I
And on
agree.
top of that, they
Yeah.
put a ton of personality, and for those who want it, a ton of humor and dialogue. So I think it's a nice surprise here at the end of the year.
Definitely.
I'm watching Tammy versus the T-Rex on it, and it's magnificent.
Yeah, tell us what this is
Uh,
real quick before we.
Tammy
move on
versus
to
the
next one.
T-Rex is Paul Walker, rest in peace or whatever.
Yeah.
Denise Richards, still alive.
Oh, she's on OnlyFans now. Put some respect on it. All right?
And like tons and tons
Put
of
some
other like
respect
actor. Like this is a pretty
Some
like it's not a
respect on it.
famous movie, but it's like one of the biggest bad movies that are so bad it's good type of
I've never
films.
heard of it.
Dude, it's such
this
a great
game.
experience if you've never seen this movie. But you can
I've
watch
never
the
seen
whole movie in this game, and like
Stop it.
characters will like
Yeah.
do commentary. And
There's a
like,
poster
hey,
for
yeah.
it. I saw on the wall.
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't-
I
Yeah,
saw
there's a poster in the
TikTok,
house. Yeah.
There was a
Mhm.
TikTok of somebody that got to a part in the game where they could visit a movie theater and actually just sit there and watch the movie. And the Red Letter Media YouTube channel guys, they're famous for like pretty much just ripping on movies all the time. they voiced over characters in the crowd just roasting the movie the whole time. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And Mystery Science.
Why would you put this in this game? Like that's
Yeah, I know.
things
This
that
is-
like nobody is ever gonna see, you
Yeah.
know, but like they put it in there, you
That's
know.
insane.
So, I love it.
I mean,
think
how
it's
long
great.
is the movie? Like an hour?
I mean, it's an
40
hour
minutes?
and a half.
and a half.
You know, it's
Yeah.
a full length movie.
So
yeah.
just the whole movie and wow. Okay.
So dumb.
That's-
It's crazy how much
Yeah, you
effort they
watched
put
the
into the
entire movie.
dumbest crap. Yeah.
And
it's
that's
funny.
just one of them. Yeah, and like
They
even
also have
like
Space Applebee's.
yeah.
I like to see that.
It cut
He
like
had
it-
to explain how he got the rights to that too. He was like,
But it's
I
not
don't
like
know,
they
man.
tried to be clever. It's just Space Applebee's.
Space Applebee's.
Yeah,
It's just
that's it, yeah.
Applebee's in space.
it's not Crapplebee's. It's nothing clever.
yeah, no,
Oh my gosh. So dumb. You
it's
know
very
what? Like
dumb.
when
Yeah.
I feel like giggly like this about dumb stuff, that's the kind of game to play.
Yeah.
It's Rick and Morty's the kind of show to watch. Like those are that's the kind of humor that does get me at the right moments. If I'm already kind of like annoyed or kind of feeling tightly wound, whatever, like maybe that's not the game. Maybe it's something else. But
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
man, what a silly and pleasantly surprisingly good
I'm
game.
very surprised how good it is. This went from a game that I thought I was going to play for 30 minutes because it was free to like, yeah, I'm going to beat this.
But like Derek said earlier, like when you hear 10, 12 hours, like I don't see why I wouldn't finish this game. Like I'm having fun with it,
Endings in sight. Yeah,
why not?
very obtainable.
A couple of Tail games. We'll start with Blacktail.
What's the deal with this? The whole
What's the
rush
deal?
of tail games. That's
There's some
crazy.
tails going on.
If it was Tail Fall, I would.
Yeah,
play
you'd
it.
be all over it.
So
God damn
Blacktail is I'm very, very early in it, so I can't give. And maybe
Dude, me
Jeff, you played
too.
it a little more.
Yeah, it sounds like you and I dibbled it about the same amount.
This
honestly.
this is a game that I want to spend some time in because it's
Me too.
really, really interesting. This is a first person. Looks like there's elements of survival and crafting, but it's also like a bow and arrow
It's-
combat game.
I would call the survival stuff. I would compare it to Horizon Survival. You're crafting
It's
weapons
lightweight.
and
It's
ammo
lightweight, yeah.
and
But you need to-
health.
Oh yeah,
And
because you're
that's
not
it.
really. There's not a hunger
Yeah.
bar. You're eating to
There's
heal.
no
That's
hunger
true.
bar. Yeah, exactly.
So not a true survival game by that measurement, but
Yeah.
but yeah, there's definitely a lot of like foraging and like picking up things to craft elements. So you're right, it is more like Horizon in that way. And so it's basically the story of the origin of Baba Yaga, which I don't know a ton about. I know there was a movie about it a little bit ago. It's
I just
like,
know John Wick was called that.
Yeah, I was going to say John
it.
Wick is the origin of Baba.
Oh, yeah.
no, I think it's like a Australian folk tale, like a horror folk tale. I thought it was Australian. Maybe it's not.
I think that's
thought it
the
was- I thought it was
Babadook.
Russian.
Yeah, it's Baba Yaga is Russian or
Russian,
or
oh,
Eastern
okay.
European. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the
Um,
Babadook is Australian. Yeah.
But the idea here is that there's two sisters who are separated. That's right at the beginning. You're looking for your sister, and then there's all kinds of like crazy spiritual, supernatural elements that get involved, including a voice that's telling you what to do and where to go. And then I don't want to say too much more because it's kind of interesting. It feels like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It feels very Guillermo del Toro in terms of its dark fairy
Well,
tale.
and that's perfect that you mentioned fairy tale because there's a morality system.
There is a more, and you pick right
Yeah.
away which one you want to be, and then you
Right.
make choices throughout the game to either bring you back towards the middle.
I don't
or
even
stay
yeah,
there.
I don't even make choices on purpose. Sometimes the game will tell me to go somewhere and
Yeah,
it'll be like,
like
you
the little-
you chose to be evil. And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Or like the
game
little
told me to go
hedgehog
here.
that wanted the fruit, and you can either shoot the fruit down or kill the hedgehog if you want.
Yeah.
Like you can, if you give it the fruit, then you get,
Yeah. I haven't
good
encountered
morality.
another scenario like that yet, but I'm very curious because it is pretty much open world, but it's not. I don't think it's massive or anything. It's still a double A
Yeah.
game, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be huge, but it does, it does have a map to it.
I
where
pretty
you're
much
like,
got
I
to the
can walk
part where you
around
talk
all
to the
this
big
stuff.
mushrooms and a little bit past that, and then I.
You and I ended at the same spot.
Does
Yeah,
it
yeah.
seem procedural, or is everything supposed to be where it
Oh,
is?
it looks
I-
designed.
Designed, okay, yeah.
It looks mapped out for sure.
Yeah.
I like
and
the visuals.
yeah, the visuals are pretty neat, and I do like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just like the whole Baba Yaga thing. That I don't know, the whole
The
concept.
bow and arrow feels good. Like if you played
Feels decent, yeah.
like Far Cry Primal, it has that kind of a feel to it
Yeah.
where it's still very rough. It doesn't feel like a modern day bow and arrow, like a Horizon, very modern feeling.
Yeah.
So that feels very smooth and you feel very strong right away. This feels much more kind of rugged, and it is because it's just you have this really kind of quickly put together looking bow, and then you have to craft 9 arrows at a time. Like it's
Did you discover that the cats you see are fast travel?
no.
So
They
yeah,
are?
I discovered that by accident because there's a cat that you meet at the very beginning ish in that glass
Yeah,
cabin
she
or
calls him
whatever.
like the king of the castle or something.
And then I
yeah.
saw another cat and I went to pet it and then it fast traveled me back to that spot. And I
there
was
you
like,
go.
what
Cat
the
travel.
hell? Yeah, so there's cat travel, guys.
There's cat travel.
It's interesting.
Game of the year, cat travel.
Cat-
So this one's really interesting. It's only like it's on sale right now for like $22-23 on Steam.
Yeah.
I recommend it if you like that kind of dark fairy tale and if you like the idea of exploring first person. It's getting like mid 70s. It's another strong Swimming in Sevens contender. It's getting those kind of reviews. It's a
Yeah.
first time game for this team.
It's impressive.
So it's not
Support
bad.
your little guys, you know.
Yeah.
They become big guys one day.
The other Tail game is Wavetale, which
Yeah.
I did download the demo for.
Mhm.
Did anyone else play this besides Jeff?
I played the demo, and then I'm like not an hour, maybe 30 minutes ahead of the demo.
'Cause you like
the
Solar
demo's
Ash.
short. But yes, yeah, the traversal is like Solar Ash because you're able to like surf on the water basically.
Kind of skate almost.
Yeah,
like
you
Solar
skate
Ash does. Yeah.
when you run too. There's a little
Yep.
bit of a skating vibe to it, but it's mostly when you're on water you can just.
But let's be
soar.
honest, the way they contrive why you can run on water is really cool.
It is. There's like a mirror version of you underwater that's helping you walk and run basically on
Yeah,
water.
this wave comes and destroys your village, and you have to figure out what's going on. Why are these monsters taking over and capturing people from your village?
Yeah.
And then this creature from underwater who you saw in the wave now signals to you and then sticks its foot out of the water and kind of waves to you with its foot, and you touch feet, and then right where the water surfaces, your feet connect. So as you move, that thing walks with you underwater.
Yeah.
And you can even run and kind of, if you jump, you can dive and it'll carry you underwater for a while and then kind of launch you out of it. Like it's just kind of a
Yeah.
cool system they've set
Yeah.
up. It reminds me
And
of
they have a zip line.
Pathless a little bit. Solar
Yeah, there's
Ash.
some of that too.
Yeah.
There's definitely some zip line mechanics too that you'll see as you open the map up more, because it is slightly open world, but it's linear open world where you can't really unlock more of the map because it's like dark clouds around you until you progress more of the story.
Gotcha.
but
Demo's very
yeah,
short, by the way.
There
so I
are
did-
some times
I did
where it's
that.
like we have to go all the way down here, and it's like 2,000 whatever kilometers, however far away it is. Not kilometers, meters, whatever. And there are like things that you'll see that you can like just zip line to, and it'll speed you up and take you through the air, and you'll be able to get some currency, in-game currency, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that stuff is actually really fun. So that's what I'm taking the joy in, and the platforming is not bad. It's not
okay.
like great, but it's
very forgiving. It's not very
Yeah.
hard.
yeah. Like the combat is like, I don't even know why it's in the game. Honestly,
Hit
you
X
could have just
4
left
times.
it. Yeah, you could have just left it a puzzle game, and it would have been satisfying enough. But yeah, so it's nowhere near Solar Ash's or the Pathless type of combat where it's like you kind of have to time things right, and it's more interesting to beat enemies. and
Pathless
stuff.
bow and arrow combat was so fun. I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot.
Definitely, Solar Ash's combat was like,
That was creative.
especially when you got to the boss fights and you just kind of had to skate around giant titans. Man, that was cool. That game was hella rad. I wish I championed that game a little more, honestly. But yeah, this one's like a 6 or 7. I don't think it's like a strong Swimming in Sevens where I'll be talking about it, guys. I'll be talking about end of the year. But it
Yeah.
is like a 4-hour experience, I think. I read that somewhere, 4 or 5 hours.
Well, it's
So
also not the
I can see
prettiest. Like
myself going
sometimes
through it.
these indie
Yeah.
games look really pretty. I didn't think it like
Yeah, it looks
Kinda look-
okay.
it
Yeah.
didn't look that great.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, not ugly, but not pretty. You know?
And then River City Girls 2 came out this week. This last new one before we preview for next year. And
Yeah,
you'll
No
change it.
idea that was even coming out.
I didn't either. I didn't find out until the day before. I was like, guys, did you know this was coming out? Like, I didn't.
Well, I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know it was like now.
Now.
Yeah, right?
yeah.
I wonder if that's how Sports Story is going to come out, because we still don't know the date yet.
Yeah. Months have
But
gone.
with River City Girls 2, I haven't played the first one.
Oh, it's
At all.
fantastic, dude.
Yeah, it's
Um,
super good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. River City is like a franchise, though, right? There's
Yeah,
It's like an
you,
old
you
NES
played
franchise.
like the River City Dynasty or River City Warriors earlier in the year, didn't you? Like, didn't you pick
yeah,
that
yeah,
up? Yeah, the
the
Romancing of the Three Kingdoms,
something
like,
like that. Yeah.
no,
played
yeah,
some of that.
that's all like they're all spin-offs or
River
in-
City Ransom is
yeah,
like
River
the
City
original
Ransom is
one.
the
I think I played
original.
Ransom. So like this is the game that I was talking about where it's like I touched it for like maybe 20 minutes and I was like, I don't think I'm on this game's wavelength right now.
I touched it for
I
20
diddled
minutes.
I diddled River City Girls.
No,
You did-
No,
you know
what?
what? We're no.
No, it's inappropriate. It's
No,
inappropriate.
no.
They're really young. They're
Cut
really
that
young in
out.
the game. Leave it alone.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
that dude.
Ri-
That's almost
River City Girls. I
inappropriate.
touched it for 20 minutes.
Nope, that's
No, I
inappropriate,
really
dude.
did though, and I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just not. If it's gonna be a beat 'em up, I want it to be more along the lines of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and less story focused and less open and like less. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
'cause
type of game
it's
I'm in the
very
mood for.
That's why I like this one too. Obviously, yeah, it is definitely different from TMNT because TMNT is like there's a beginning of the stage, you go through it, there's a boss
It's
at the end.
arcadey. This is not
Yes.
arcadey.
It is, but it's like it's open.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah,
it's
exactly.
connected.
The
all
combat
these
is
connected
arcadey,
areas.
but
Yeah, yeah.
everything else is like kind of like anime or manga, basically, or comic-ish. They look
Yeah.
like Western comics too sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, so like the story stuff is actually kind of cool. I do like that, and how open it can
panels,
get
right?
is really cool. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not put off by any of that. It's just not the kind of game I want to play right now.
Yeah.
So I'll probably
Fair.
go back to it later on or something.
Yeah, because the first
Those
one, like,
games are
you,
always a gas multiplayer too. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it'd be so fun to play that 2-player, especially because I'm playing one person, and every time there's dialogue, she's talking to the other person, and even though they're not on the screen at all, like it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Also, there's no AI.
no,
like-
there's no AI partner. I don't. That's really weird.
Okay. That's dumb.
Um,
Yeah, this is.
but yeah,
definitely
I'd like
better
to like to
with
play it.
that's
Like
what-
I know Kyle, you're working your way through the first one, but whenever you get the second one, let me know. We can do some.
Yeah, for
two-player.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed those games.
Or Dan,
I'm a
I don't
huge-
care. I have no preference.
Yeah,
I just want to play as some girls and beat up some people. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
I like
you
the-
can be the boyfriends in this one too.
You
Yeah,
can.
so
yeah, you can. Yeah.
I'll
they were
play
part
it
of
when
the
it's
And you know what?
River
And it's
City
about
Boys. That's when
time,
I'll
right,
play.
guys?
River
Men
City
in
Boys,
video
call me.
games,
Call me when
you
it's
know,
River
it's
City
about
Boys.
time.
It
I'll
is
play
about
River
time.
City
Alex.
Boys.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, thank you.
It's about time. Let's hear it for
All
the
right.
boys.
Let's
Well,
hear it for the boys, guys. Yeah.
Like you said that very Michael Scott style. Let's hear it for the boys.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about 2023. It's coming up on us pretty quickly here, and there's some games that have been announced. I don't know if you guys knew this. There's some games that are dropping.
I
And
don't believe you.
they're all coming out in Q1. Every single 2023 game is coming out in Q1.
There's a
Guys,
lot.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but
Uh-huh.
not all of them are gonna make it.
Kyle.
All right, guys. So
Kyle?
here's
Oh.
how our preview
Kyle.
here's how our preview discussion is going to work. I'll share my screen so you can kind of see the list that I'm looking at, and if there's any that you feel like are missing, this is updated as of yesterday, so I think it's pretty accurate.
Not to get into spreadsheet mechanics because that's the most boring topic for a podcast. But how did you do this? Did you
Oh,
just
kissing.
export it out of
Kissing.
Wikipedia?
No, I had to edit it a bit. I
was
did.
gonna
I
say,
did
dude,
copy
this
and
is like-
paste, but
Too pretty. I don't know how the hell you did this.
I have
Um,
I have mine already created for my pre-orders.
Yeah,
Like, I've got
I did mine
everything.
earlier this week actually. I have
Nice.
I have a note
I
in
use
my phone
Game
that I use.
Informer, and then I just copy the ones I'm interested in, and then I mark it whether
Game
I've
Informer's
already
got the best
pre-ordered.
calendar, and I think that's what
Yeah.
Wikipedia is.
And they
based off
update
of.
it like every day. It's
I'm
great.
pretty sure, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same calendar. Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll go through this, and then I want you each to make 2 predictions. So as we're going through this, and at the end we'll make these predictions. So maybe you already know in your mind what you'll pick. The first one is I want you to pick which one is most likely to be delayed. And now this is of the games that are set with a release date. So Starfield
Okay.
doesn't count. Redfall doesn't count. Like they don't have release dates set.
Yeah,
yet.
right.
So we'll go through the ones with release dates. Which one's most likely to get
Xbox.
delayed? And then I want you to give me of the ones that have release dates, which one's most likely, and you have to pick one to get over 90 on Metacritic out of all
Oof.
these.
Okay.
This is tough.
So those are your
That's
2
tough.
things that you have to pick.
Because I went
as we
through
go through
even
this.
our games of the year from like the last couple years, like, and barely any of them made 90. Like that's a tough score, you know.
It is. So we'll see how this goes. Let me bring up my screen here. All right.
If
can you guys
anybody can do
see?
it, it's Zelda.
All right,
Maybe.
can you-
Get delayed or make
I think Breath of the Wild got like 80.
because it
or
might be
something.
both, guys.
All right. Can you guys see this spreadsheet here?
Spreading
Yeah.
those sheets.
The
Yeah.
calendar.
Spread the sheets, dude.
Timmy
I
spreading them
did.
sheets.
I did ask for that a little bit.
Jeff is diddling girls in the river, and Tim's
I
spreading
just,
sheets.
yeah,
Hey,
this is
I
a
didn't
very
say that.
sexual episode. Here we go.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to, folks. This is just where it lands
It's a
sometimes.
sex
Okay.
episode.
Folks.
We can't control it. It just happens. All right. So
Comedy.
we'll start. Mark
Yeah.
Norman.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, thank you.
So in January, I'm not saying there's nothing major coming out in January, but it's a little bit more of what we saw last year in terms of there's 1 or 2 main games coming out, right? We got Forspoken, we've got Fire Emblem Engage. I forgot to highlight those. I
Dead
tried to bold the ones that were
Dead
big.
Space.
Yeah, and
Dead Space too?
Yeah.
That space is
I-
huge.
Yeah, Dead
Oh,
Space
did you?
2. Sorry, I had
Huge.
It's huge. I can't
Huge.
believe
I had
I
these
get to be in
highlighted.
space when it's dead. It's huge.
It's
The best space is dead.
Listen,
I had-
everybody. We're the best space. We all have space.
Many people have said it's the best space.
I thought I had 4 for
They
this
say it's
month,
dead, but
I'm
it
only-
seems full of life to me.
Many
Whenever
people.
you guys are done with your
Um,
bit. All right, so
sorry.
Well,
There's
Thought I had
explaining the
four.
rules, guys. Come
How
on.
do you stop being Trump? Trump's the greatest thing
I
ever.
I mean, everyone should stop
oh,
trying.
by the way,
there's
we
another
should
bit,
all
though.
invest together in his trading cards because
You guys,
Stop
NFT.
it.
He said
Gotta
he
be
was
a
a
real
better
patriot.
president than Washington
Yeah.
and Lincoln. Here by my NFTs.
I still choose to believe that's real, even though it very well could be a deep fake. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, now that you say it, it might be a deep. I didn't even think about that. I just took it at face value.
Well,
yeah.
it's
Oh.
believable. He could literally say anything and it's believable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could
that's
shoot
true.
somebody in Times Square. Nobody would do anything.
The other bit I wanted to mention is, guys, we got to talk about how Persona 3 and 4 are coming out. This is like the biggest release of the year.
Yeah,
You know
we
what?
gotta have
Buying
You know
both
what?
of those.
We're just
and
gonna do
very
that.
pumped.
No,
And
okay.
I'm gonna-
gonna-
No,
and I'm gonna talk to
no.
James
They're
all day
gone.
about it. So
Okay,
To,
so if you look
to be
through-
fair,
for
for the
pretty
poor
cool.
listeners, not the people who are watching, for the
That is
listeners,
exciting, though. I'm not going to lie.
For,
That is
for the
pretty
listeners,
exciting.
we've got
Pretty huge,
a couple of major re-releases in Persona 3 and 4 coming to all platforms, but especially they're going to be on Game Pass. That's a pretty big deal if you're
Yeah.
Game Pass.
Huge,
Monster
yeah, absolutely.
Monster Hunter Rise coming to Xbox and PS4 as well as the current gen PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. That's pretty exciting.
I think
Um,
that's great.
Yeah,
I think that's
awesome.
excellent. I'm excited for those. And then, of course, you've got 2 major new releases and 1 major remake. You've got Fire Emblem Engage on January 20th, Forspoken on January 24th, and then the Dead Space remake on January 27th. So
Sweet.
that's your January.
Tim, can I just point our attention here at Hyperdimension Neptunia
No, you can't. We're moving on.
versus
Nope.
Sister? Well,
That
Like,
sounds
You
What?
can
like
say
the
the name.
most-
We can talk about it for a little.
That
bit,
is like
okay?
the most James game I've ever heard a James game.
It is.
James game.
Like,
the
so,
stories of seasons one. Yeah, those
is.
two.
I think it
Oh.
would be cool if everybody picks one game a month. So what's the game in
I
January
like that
that
idea.
you
That we're
guys
most
are
All right,
excited
Derek,
for?
you go
Yeah,
first.
I like that idea.
Derek, you go first.
It was originally Fire Emblem, but after playing Callisto, it's Dead Space for me.
Okay. Kyle, what's your pick from
It's
January?
Fire Emblem so hard for me. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm right there with
So
you, man. It's Fire
excited.
Emblem Engage. I cannot wait for that. I watched some of the gameplay video too, and I'm like,
Same.
does this look a lot very familiar? Yup. Am I super
And
excited
it
for
looks
it?
really good
Yep.
too. Like it's pretty. Like it's
Pretty
really.
good.
It's a good looking game, dude.
So that's my pick too. Dan, what are you?
Got
excited
lots
for?
of blues. It's got reds.
it's
Yeah,
very
it does look
vibrant.
good.
You know it's not
Vibrant.
vibrant. You know it's not vibrant. Dead Space, and that's my choice. So.
Yeah.
I
And
feel you.
Jeff?
I'm hyped for it.
I
Yeah,
feel
mine
like
has-
Dan
mine
and
has
I
to
are
be,
like brothers from other lovers. We always we like.
I
don't think that's
really
the same.
want my
Okay.
mom nothing to do with whoever your
all right,
family
Jeff, what's your
line is
pick?
associated.
brothers from different lovers.
That was a long-winded way to say that, Dan. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You got
I,
it,
I
Al. We
would
got it.
I would pick Dead Space 2 because I've never played it before and I want to see what
It's
the fuss
Dead
is
Space.
about.
It's not Dead Space 2. Can't you read?
I did.
Also,
I,
damn it.
I
Also,
meant 2 is an also.
Too
Yeah.
bad. You said it.
That's my kind of. That's my kind of
words,
humor.
words are
right there.
hard.
All right,
Words are very
February,
hard.
things get crazy. So I'm just going to go through the ones I've highlighted, but feel free after I'm done going through these to call out ones that you want me to highlight as well. Hogwarts Legacy on February 10th. Wanted Dead. You remember that reveal over the summer?
Yeah,
That
dude,
looks so
pumped for this
cool.
game.
That's a
Yeah.
Kyle game through and through. That's on
So
February
Kyle, yeah.
14th.
Yeah.
That's
February 17th, we have the Tales of Symphonia Remastered and Wild Heart, which is that EA Monster Hunter looking game.
Wow.
4 days later, on the 21st, we have Atomic Heart hitting Game
my God.
Pass. We have Like a
Jeez.
Dragon Ishin also arriving on February 21st.
Oh
3
my
days
God.
later, we've got the Switch remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe and Octopath Traveler 2 on February 24th.
You would highlight
Jesus
Destiny 2
Christ.
Lightfall.
Dude,
Don't appease those weirdos, okay? Don't appease Destiny.
I'm a
Isn't-
Destiny 2 freak.
Nope.
Dude, Destiny 2
Shouldn't be.
Lightfall is pretty major for the folks who are still playing it.
You should
That's
I
the
love
second
It's the samurai
best
one, right?
selling first-person shooter franchise in the world, guys. So it's,
Wow.
By the way, our from the group, Jose plays like he did his review, a year in review, whatever. That's his by far most played game. Like people are still just that's the game they play. Like that
Yeah.
became their Call of Duty.
I love
I mean,
Destiny.
It plays really well. It's a great
does.
shooter.
It
It's
so-
a
does
budget
play
game,
well.
yeah.
It does
It's
play
All
well.
right,
I got
so,
good story stuff too, but
Jeff, let's start with you this time. What's your pick out of February?
Like a Dragon. Like a dragon.
That's the one in Samurai Times, right? Way that
yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is. That's why I want
Yeah.
it. Give me it. And I'm pretty sure this is not
Give me it.
turn-based, which there's nothing wrong with that. I
it's
think
not turn-based.
I think
yeah.
like
to
a
beat 'em
dragon.
up with swords and guns.
Exactly. Exactly.
Actually looks really
I
great.
want to do the arcadey Yakuza with samurai. That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
we were never
Um,
supposed to get this game. This is magic. Like what we're witnessing magic right now.
crazy.
Yeah.
Dan,
Good
what did you
magic.
pick for February?
I do kind of. I completely forgot about Ishin. I want to say Atomic Heart though. That thing looks
Yeah,
bananas.
that's a good
Yeah,
choice.
That
it
game
does.
looks bananas.
See, Dan, you and I, brothers
that
from
yours,
different
Derek?
lovers.
I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
myself. I'm gonna
Atomic
kill
Heart
myself.
looks-
Oh, what am I
Alright.
doing? I'm an idiot. Hogwarts Legacy. I'm a fucking idiot. All right.
Okay,
So
Hogwarts.
that-
that makes sense.
I'm literally
But you're not
a Harry
allowed. You're not
Potter
allowed to
guy.
like that though. You're not allowed to like it,
All
Jeff.
right.
So I am. There's a lot that I'm curious about this
Alright.
month. Like I'm curious about Wild Hearts. I'm curious about Atomic Heart.
Wild Hearts.
But I
let's see.
think Hogwarts Legacy is likely to take up most of my time that month if
Yeah.
it lands the way it looks like it's going to. That latest gameplay
Dude.
video is awesome.
That
So
new
What
live stream
about
looked incredible. That was
Hearts
awesome.
Fall. If
Heart-
if one of those Hearts Fall games was coming out,
Heartfall.
I would definitely Hearts
Heartfall.
Fall.
God
Tale
damn
of
it.
Heartfall.
Kyle, what
Read
that,
Heartfall.
Kyle, is it this
what's-
one?
Yeah, it's definitely like a dragon. Yeah.
What's
I'm
that
super
other one
pumped for
that's?
Hogwarts.
Although
What's that
Wanted
other
Dead,
one?
I
Other
feel like you're
samurai
gonna
game?
love that one. I feel like you're gonna have
Wanted
two
Dead,
games.
yeah, I'm gonna be screaming about that one like a lot, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a dragon for sure. That's
Yeah.
that Yakuza's my jam.
Of course, got it.
Do we
All right.
remember the name of that other game that's like the same, like guns, and it's like that same time frame, but there was like, I think it was
Ronin?
Namco Bandai, right?
Ronin?
Maybe I don't know if you guys remember. Maybe
Wasn't
it's
that
Ronin.
Wanted Dead.
Yeah. No, I think he's talking
No.
about the open world samurai game.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
all,
yeah.
like took place kind of in the same time period with
Oh,
guns.
Oh yeah,
Ronin?
they
Okay.
put a 2024 release date on that one. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
that's not coming out this year.
No, I was just trying to remember the name
That's
of
the
it.
Team
I could-
Ninja. Team
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Team
yeah.
Ninja. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Team Ninja. Yep.
Ooh,
They're too busy releasing the best game of March to have time for that right now.
Oh,
That's
man,
fair.
March.
That's fair. So in
Oh,
March, we've
March.
got March 1st. We have the day before. I don't know if you guys remember they
Skull and
revealed
Bones.
this.
yes, day before is most anticipated material. Absolutely.
The day before was
Dude, that's
revealed.
gonna
What's
get
the day
delayed.
before again? What am I?
So this is a survival.
what
it
The
kinda looks
Division
like
should have
it looks
been.
like the Division, but way cooler.
Mhm.
But it's also an MMO, so it's got this survival
Okay.
pieces to it. Like it looks interesting.
To be
That PC
fair,
only?
though,
Yeah.
Destiny or the Division also looked really, really cool before it came
Mhm.
out. So
Yeah.
I don't think the day before is going to be
It- yeah.
shit.
And
It's
also this
getting
might be
delayed.
it might be delayed. This
It's
is
early
not a bad
access, so
thing
I
for it
think
to
they'll
delay.
just put it out.
Last of Us
Oh,
Part 1's
Well,
hitting
then
PC.
you might be right. Yeah.
Last of Us Part 1 is hitting PC on March 3rd, along with Wolong Fallen Dynasty,
Yeah,
which
Wolong,
is
I
hitting
forgot.
There we
which is
go,
hitting Game
baby.
Pass. It's hitting Game Pass that day. On
Well, here's
March
the real
3rd.
game of the year, guys.
By the way, guys, both Wolong and Atomic Heart are not only Game Pass, but they're on PC too. They're Play Anywhere
PC Game
titles,
Pass. Yep,
which I
Yeah.
absolutely love.
that's amazing. Yep. Skull and Bones. Will it actually release? We don't know. March 9th is the current release date for that one.
Good question.
They're
Good
canceling
question.
that game.
Bayonetta Origins, the one that they revealed at the Game Awards, that kind of new art, animated art look they have to it.
Yeah.
That comes out on the Switch on March 17th, alongside Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Also dropping that day, and then a week later on March 24th,
God, March is crazy.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
This is absolutely
Sweating.
nuts.
I'm sweating thinking about all these
So
games.
sweat.
So-
My wallet is
This
sweating.
has got to be the month that we have a delay. There's no way all these games come out.
Well, so
I think a delay happens February, March, and we'll get to that. So
Yeah, we'll get to that. So we'll start with you this time, Dan. What's your pick from March? If you had to pick one game that you're definitely going to buy, you only have money for one. Which one do you get?
Well, I'm not a Star Wars cuck, so not Survivor. So
You're a cuck for some other stuff,
there's a
though.
little bit of
for,
resentment
cuck for
there.
Resident
Pretty
Evil, for Resident Evil 4. So
Resident Evil
that's my choice.
4. Derek, what are you picking this month?
That's got to be Wolong.
Long Fallen Dynasty. Jeff, what are you picking this month?
the day before is like number 3 on my most anticipated for the year. So I can't wait for this game, dude. This game looks incredible.
Yeah.
There's no way it's gonna be that good, but
You will be let down.
yeah, probably. but it looks.
Let them
super-
believe, damn it. Let them believe.
It's about what you're most excited to get your hands on, like, and not so much what's going to be good, I guess. And I gotta play this game, dude. Like, I want to see what
Yeah.
it's about, you know.
I mean, I'll I'll be there with you, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think low.
That's fair.
expectations.
Yeah,
Kyle,
it
what do
just it does look very ambitious. I don't know if you guys have seen this like the other guys.
I don't.
I've seen a
I'll
couple
have to look it
trailers.
up. I just
Look it up.
don't even know what
It's
this game
basically
is,
like
yeah.
Division,
impressive
but
looking.
there's
Looks
like cars
amazing.
and there's like the map is massive. Like there's
It's like multiple floors of buildings, right?
It's
And
been on
you're
my
Yeah,
like-
Steam
yeah.
wish list
Yeah.
since it was announced, and it's I'm
Yeah, it looks super ambitious.
so excited for it.
Yeah, dude.
But Kyle, what's your most excited, most anticipated game this
I
month?
wonder what it is.
I was doing air karate. All right, when I saw the trailer of Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Right.
Air karate in my
karate?
living room, just like yeah, just like super
Yeah.
hyped, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really
That is
drunk too,
amazing.
but you know,
That is one of the
it's
best
fine. We were-
descriptions of being excited to see a
Dude,
thing.
I
Yeah.
was pumped, dude. So yeah, that
was
one
really
for
good.
sure.
That's
I
what-
jumped out of my seat.
I stood up for that one. Guys, for me, it's got to be Skull and Bones. No, it's not Skull and Bones.
Skull and
Um,
Boners.
Thank God.
No, I'm right there with Kyle. I think it's Jedi Survivor. I'm very excited to play the day before. Wolong, I'm glad they had a demo because I actually think it's going to be one of those Souls likes that I don't really get into. Kind of like Neo, where I'm interested in it, but then I try it and I'm like, yeah, this is just too much.
Yeah,
Whether it's
that
the
Neo hit me like
difficulty
that.
or just the systems. I think the Wolong demo systems, honestly, for someone who loves deep games, I thought it was overwhelming. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. It's too much thrown. I mean, I know it's a demo, but like, I'm just not sure if that game's for me. So I think it's going to be Jedi Survivor, but Resident Evil 4 is actually a very close second for me
Same,
on that.
same for me as well.
Um,
yeah.
Dude,
So
that
excited.
last trailer showed really well.
Oh boy, very excited for that one. All right, this is where we
Hashtag
start.
the
To
dog's
get,
not dead. Hashtag
this is where we
the-
start
you
to
know.
get much more sparse in our list because there's not as many release dates coming up here. But in
This
April,
is good though. We need the quiet time.
we do indeed. In April, there's not a ton of huge games. I think Dead Island 2 might be the biggest headliner, which I should have highlighted. That comes out April 28th. Then there's like the last gen versions of Hogwarts Legacy is gonna arrive that month.
Yeah, they had to delay that.
The Legacy Collection
Okay.
for Mega Man Battle Network, which I did play those games back on like
Those are
the GBA
fun.
days. Fun little strategy RPGs in that universe.
When you were
Um,
scrolling down, Tim, like real quick, a Meet Your Maker, it looked like Meet Your Mother, and I was like, are they making a How I Met Your Mother game? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I don't know why it's on
Don't
here
do this to
twice.
It's a dating sim.
they wanted to change the
Bad
ending.
copy and paste.
Yeah.
Please,
Um,
please. I hope that we wish.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot scheduled for April at the moment. I have a feeling some of the games that we'll touch on when we get to the release dates that haven't been announced yet. I feel like April's going to get at least one mega game that's announced for that window. But I could be wrong.
I think a March game will slide to April.
Could be.
We also have is it PSVR 2? Oh, that releases in February. Never mind.
It's February. Yep.
Okay.
So then I won't make you guys pick out of that month. There's not a whole lot there. In
Yeah,
May,
it would just be Dead Island 2, I
just
guess.
Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Dead Island 2 could be potentially fun, but it'll be like a Swimming in Sevens kind of fun. So
I
agree
mean,
with that. Yeah.
I liked the first two Dead
Yeah.
Island games, but I watched they did like kind of that where it's a trailer, but they're walking you through it and talking about the game and everything. And
Yeah.
so it's like 5 or 6 minutes long, and I was not impressed at all. I was like, "Wow, you guys realize that another game came out that's very much like you guys, and they do it way better than what Dead Island looks like. Dead Island looks very bad."
I think
No,
the
I
issue
mean,
is
it's also
because
a
this been
smaller
in development hell, right? It's been in
Yeah.
development hell. It's literally changed hands
It's
between like
changed
3 or 4 studios.
I think 2
yeah.
or 3 times. Yeah.
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 I mean, if you think Deep Silver, you usually think AA games for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I do at least.
No,
Um,
this definitely has a double A vibe
does.
to it.
It does. In May, we have at least 2, possibly more. We'll find out as release dates come out, but at least 2 super heavy hitters. We've got Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom scheduled for May 12th, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been announced for May 26th. Just
Love it.
absolute mega games. If you guys had to pick between those two, for me, it's easily Legend of Zelda, but that does not mean I'm not excited to play Suicide Squad. I'm really looking forward to what Rocksteady does with that game. But Legend of Zelda by far. Jeff, what's your pick for this one?
Oh, I've yet to play a Zelda game that's got its hooks in me, so it's got to be Suicide Squad. Sorry.
Kyle, what about you? I don't have to apologize.
I
It looks
no,
great.
I do because that's
You
like
should
a beloved
apologize.
series.
It looks great. Kyle, which one are you most
No, it's
excited
hated
for?
by everybody. Trust me.
It's Legend of Zelda for sure. Yeah.
And Derek?
Oh, no doubt, Zelda.
And
Got a bunch of Kevin Conroy fake fans over here.
Dan, what about you?
Just dancing
Oh,
on his
we love
grave.
Con- We love
I like-
Conrad.
I've barely seen gameplay of that game. It's not coming out ever.
Zelda. Yes.
Yeah. And then WrestleQuest is currently tabbed for a May release, which would be interesting. They said May 2023. So all right.
It's a really good time to release that game. Just
Yeah.
well,
So-
Yeah,
if
I'm
it
gonna
were
need
a
something
normal
to play,
summer, I'd say
you know.
that.
The
excuse
demo
me.
was a lot of fun, but it was definitely rough. So I'm looking forward to
It was
seeing
rough,
what they've
yeah.
done.
Yeah, and I think they are actually like they said they were actively listening to feedback. And
Yeah.
Because they were targeting fall of this they like end of the
Yeah,
summer,
and then
beginning
they
of the
heard the
They
fall.
were
feedback,
they
and
were
they were
pushing
like,
real
oh.
hard at the last
Yeah.
like couple
Yep.
shows at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, like the trade shows.
But I like
and,
that. They pulled it back and they were like, let's fix this thing up and make it good. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing what the final product looks like. We get into June and things just get even crazier. We have, well, I'm not a big fighting fan, but Street Fighter 6 is still a really big deal. That's a pretty major release.
Sure,
It
sure.
looks
Um,
good, man. I want to see
and
more of that
the-
open world stuff for sure.
The art style looks very cool. Diablo 4, of course, which has had 0 development issues. I'm so glad to see that one.
Yeah, the team is very happy to be
Smooth
having to crunch
sailing.
for the rest of it.
Smooth as silk. And then
Skull and Boners.
Final Fantasy 16, I guess, is coming on June 22nd. I'll just get this out of the way. That's Final Fantasy 16 by far out of those 3, maybe even out of all the games that year, next year. Who knows? But that's really high up on my hyped for list
Yeah.
personally, and that's
Yeah.
coming from
Oh,
someone.
I'm
who's-
gonna make you pick of these 6 months we just went over. You have to pick one game.
You don't have. You don't get to
have
make
to.
me do that.
Yes,
but
you
I'll,
do.
I'll still
Yes,
do
you
it.
do.
I just want to make sure
And-
you know you don't have the power to, but I'll still do it. But
It's my choice.
My choice.
That's
I do it. You
exactly
don't
what he
tell me.
says.
I do it.
That's exactly what he says to his wife. You know what? You don't have authority, but you know what? I'm gonna do it.
For the record, I chose this. All right. So yeah, for me it's Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Derek, is that same for you?
Absolutely for June.
Yeah, and
So
and
excited.
hey Dan, which one are you most pumped for that month?
Actually, RoboCop.
RoboCop
Yeah, I
Rogue
knew
City.
it. I knew it. I knew he had RoboCop on his heart.
I will say this:
The
I'm
whole
curious
time.
what this game ends up being, but it's very overshadowed at the moment. But I am.
But if
curious.
that gets delayed, though, then it's Final Fantasy.
Okay, got it. Good call. Good call. Kyle, you in the same boat here? I'm
Yeah.
assuming, or you're a Diablo guy though too, aren't you? Or no?
I'm a huge Diablo guy, but that almost doesn't even matter kind of at all.
Yeah,
Final
fair.
Fantasy 16, I'm so pumped for that game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And
Yeah.
then Jeff, you're in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm hella pumped for 16, dude. Really excited for that.
In July, all I know of so far, maybe there's been more announced since a couple days ago, but the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy will arrive at the end of July. Guys, don't play it on the Switch. Actually, this is just,
Don't
Guys,
do that.
don't.
If this even plays a monochrome of okay on the Switch and Pokemon is still in the same state that it is come like July or whatever, I'm going to be pretty upset.
yeah, everyone at
I'll-
Game Freak needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 is slated for an August release. We just don't have an exact date on that one yet. And then
Technically, that's been out for like 2 years. I mean, early
in
access.
early access, right? The
Yeah,
1.0 version comes out in August.
Which I
Oh,
don't
And then-
know.
I don't know what
I
Minute
will-
of Hogwarts is. so-
I will add one thing for April. I know it's not like an actual game, but Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores comes out April
yeah.
19th.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that would
yeah,
actually
big
be
DLC.
That
yeah.
would be
that would be
definitely
my most
That'd be my pick
excited
for
for
April.
April.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick for
Easily.
April. That's a
Easily.
great time for that game to launch
Yeah.
some DLC.
Yeah, look
Oh, I
at
like
that. Look how bare it is right now. Please, industry, do not fill up that month.
They
Give us a
will,
buy
'cause-
month. for the
Because
love
Because
of God.
Eric is right. Like things are gonna like shift out of those first 2 months.
I
and
have
land
to
in
add it
April.
now.
Like it just you nailed it.
All right, so guys, which one's most likely to get delayed out of all these games we've looked at? And we'll start with Dan. What's most likely to get delayed
Just out of any of them.
Dan,
of any of the
Dan,
games?
be honest with yourself, dude. Be honest with yourself. That's all I'm
Be
saying.
honest with myself. I mean, okay. Can you
Just
scroll
saying.
back up, Tim, please?
You don't need
Yeah.
to. It's right there.
It's not.
Now I get what you're doing. Okay.
Shut your pie hole. You know what? I'm just gonna say Forspoken just for fun because that game's been delayed like 3 times.
Do you think maybe feedback from the demo could feed into that
Yes.
too?
I mean, maybe because
I don't
mean,
know. They're a big enough company that they will just be like, whatever. Who cares? Just release it. They don't care. You know, like
Right. I think you're right about that too. I think both of those things are truths. That
that could go to
What was,
Oh,
if
that could
you
go to
guys don't mind filling me in, what was the feedback from the demo? I just want to see if it's the same as me.
It's been poor.
It's been poor. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's,
thought it
I was
kind
the
of
most
boring.
positive on it, but I still had problems with like the traversal
Well, just
and the
like-
dialogue for sure.
I mean,
it was
articles
so
I've seen
bad.
about it and just general posts out there, even from people in the video game industry saying, this is why I love having demos so I know when not to buy a game. Like I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
seen
there's
a lot
been a
of
lot of
that.
that
Um,
takes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
the main thing seems to be the dialogue, which they can't change now. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
some
in the
there's
can,
some
man.
core
Yeah.
issues that are outside.
Well,
of
we all know that's because you're sexist because it's a girl talking.
out of the
Yeah.
5 of
And
us,
racist
yeah,
because,
definitely me.
personal color.
Yeah, because she's black. We don't want
Yeah.
to hear a
But
black
it's
girl
written by
talk.
white people, so we're
All right,
safe, guys.
Dan, you're picking
Ah.
Forspoken for your most
Sure.
likely to delay. Kyle, what do you think, Mr. Delaysar?
I'm gonna
What's getting
turn my
delayed?
power off, guys. I'm gonna vote with my heart and
Oh.
just logic, and it's Zelda for sure. It's getting pushed to the fall, like 100%,
Ah, okay.
That's interesting.
like
Yeah.
1,000%. Hey, tell me your favorite part you've seen about that game. Oh, you can't because we haven't seen much.
No,
of
no,
it?
no. It's
Sky-
interesting
Sky.
that you chose that one in May and not Suicide Squad because I'm totally picking Suicide Squad.
Suicide
That's
Squad, I think
Jeff's
it's just too obvious. Yeah,
That is
I was gonna
getting
leave that on the
so
table for
delayed.
somebody else. And that's the same thing. Like, hey, tell me about your favorite gameplay aspect of that game. Oh, you can't because we haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything yet.
It's getting delayed. And that is my power. I turned my power back on to agree with
Okay.
you, Jeff. But
All right, well,
Zelda's a hard pick.
My pick, just for fun, because I think it'd be hilarious, is going to be Skull and Bones. Is going to get delayed out of
I
March.
love that. I love that pick.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Hold on, move that to November because it's gonna dominate.
Yeah, it's
November.
gonna move to November.
So I would laugh so hard. I would literally have a party.
I would think
And I don't
that's
have
like they're
parties.
kidding at this
Literally,
point.
nobody else has been in my apartment. I
Like,
will
this
have a
game isn't
party.
real, is it? This game is Ubisoft just
Yeah,
never
like,
really
we were
made
just
this
kidding
game.
the whole time.
They just made videos, and
It's
it
so
was
funny
never
that
an
they
actual
intend to
game.
release it on Luna as well because they're
Oh
not going
my
to release it
God.
at all on anything. So that's
Luna. Oh my gosh, Luna. Wow. All right, guys. Which game that has a release date, and we'll go into ones that don't have release dates yet that are still TBD. But which game do you think is most likely to get on Metacritic? Not in your heart.
Did Derek
but on-
say which one he
Derek,
thought?
did you say your
I thought he did.
delay?
I didn't. He ignores me all the time.
Oh, let's not.
You know,
I
it
hurt.
delayed
Thanks.
Derek's
It hurt.
answer. I delayed
Delayed
You
Derek's
had
Derek,
answer.
two
yeah.
people speak up for you. Chill out.
I'm still hurting. Give me time.
I'm still hurting.
I'm actually. I want to believe that Zelda's not going to launch until we get a Switch 2 announcement. So.
Okay.
Zelda.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? If they announced the new system early next year that's releasing in the fall,
They
and
both come in
Zelda's
the
a
fall.
launch title.
Yep. Like
Dude,
every Zelda that's come before
that's
it.
not
yeah.
too
Yeah, I was gonna
crazy.
say.
That's not
Like
too
the
crazy.
last 3 Zeldas have launched that way.
The only thing that
across-
would be
across
crazy is trying to
generation.
get access to one of those new systems, but otherwise,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
I don't want to do
Just
that.
ask
I'm with
Gabe Newell how
Kyle.
to do
I don't want to do this
already.
again.
I don't
want
ever
Gabe
want to do
knows
it.
how to
Someone
do it.
just figure it out. You know what? Ship me a Switch expansion pack like N64 days.
Yes.
That is plug into
I'll
the
just
bottom
plug
of
it
it,
in.
and like
Yeah.
it's better now. Yeah. Like that's
It weighs
what I
like
want.
it weighs
I
like
don't wanna buy
70
another one.
pounds.
like a Rumble pack.
I don't care. It's a docked only system
Dude,
now. Like
I
you just
still
buy a new
remember-
dock and plug it in.
I still remember when the idea of like your controller shaking wasn't a thing, but then when they released the Rumble pack, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is life changing.
It did add 20 pounds to the controller though. Like
Oh,
it
it was
became
huge.
really back heavy.
No, you had to rest it on like a lap desk.
You
had
would
to,
like
have a
fall
lap desk on
forward
your
while
hip
playing
on
with
your lap.
it.
It added a nice weight to the controller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So those
I
are
love
our
that thing though.
delay thoughts. What about over 90? What's most likely of the ones that have release dates to get over 90? Derek, we'll start with you. What do you think? Most-
Zelda.
Jeff, what do you think? Make sure
Can
you
you
see.
scroll up?
Yeah.
Poor favor.
And I guess I wouldn't count like Last of Us Part 1 re-releasing on the PC. I mean, you can count, I guess that's
Damn it! No, I'm kidding.
That's easily going to be
It's not. You know what? Prediction on that. It's not going to play very well, and people are going to be mad at first.
Yeah.
They'll still review it at 90 though.
They will.
I'm looking
they'll-
for like the most like
patch it.
indie cucky title possible that at
Forspoken?
the end of the year we'll all be like,
Here's one.
nobody played that.
Yeah, I press sister versus sister.
I'm
another
gonna
one.
go
Summertime
with
rendering.
Persona 4 is a 90, so when they release it again, it won't change. Yeah.
Right. And everyone and certain people will be like, oh my god, can you believe it? It's got a 95 on Metacritic.
side scroll. Hold on, what is that?
Again.
Hold on, what is that? Helvetti side scrolling action roguelike? Yeah, let's go with that.
Helvetti.
Hey, Jeff is right. That's the Dead Cells of 2023.
There we go.
Team,
There we go.
Team Claw Claw. That's the name. Team Claw Claw.
Jesus.
Yeah, you know,
It's a
I think
household name.
some of these other mega games like Final Fantasy 16, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, even Resident Evil 4, like those are potentially going to get like really high 80 averages, even
Yeah,
though they might
yeah.
deserve the 90s.
They're gonna get over.
That's just the way that those kind of games usually. Now, some of the other Resident Evil remakes, like 2, was in the 90s, so like it's not impossible.
Tim, can
What?
you read to me the one under Destiny 2 there, please?
Where are we at? This one.
Can
Oh
you
yeah,
read-
yes. I got you covered. I got you covered. It's Void Terlum 2, Void Terrarium 2A.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate
Nailed
it.
it. Yeah,
You're welcome.
that was a whole thing.
That is coming from Nippon Ichi Software. Shocking.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good. That's actually a good studio. Yeah.
No, I think it's got to be Zelda. I mean, to me, that's the only surefire,
yeah.
like, gonna be in the 90s. And even if it does get delayed, let's say till fall. which
Even
would
then,
not
I still
surprise
predict
me.
like 88 for that game. Honestly, I don't know why. I just have a feeling they're gonna
Well,
try
could
to
be
knock
right.
it down a peg or something.
You could be right. I mean, I think the only ones that have gone below that have been the ones that people generally are split on.
Yeah.
Like your Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, like those kind of ones that are still
Majora's
beloved
Mask.
by a lot, but there's some division there. Like
Well,
this Breath of the Wild was pretty universally loved outside of the tryhards in the world.
I forgot to mention
That's
a couple, or at least point out a couple. Crime Boss, Rocky City.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
I should probably change my delay to that one. There's no way that's coming out in March.
No way that's coming out.
The
That's
most
yeah, there's no
bananas
way.
cast ever.
But that game
We
looks
don't know
awesome.
anything about that game.
And
Really,
then,
dude, Chuck Norris. What
It's
else do you
a
need to know?
$30 game though, so I think
Is
this
it?
like
True.
a double.
True.
Yeah,
They
it's
could-
like
they
a
could just put it
double
out.
A.
Chuck
I
Norris.
have a feeling it's gonna be complete trash.
yeah, on purpose,
Oh
probably.
boy, yeah. I'm getting
and
real worried about
can
that
you
one now.
scroll up a little bit? I didn't know if you had it in your list. I don't think it's on Wikipedia. Okay, yeah, it's not. Scars Below comes out on the 28th of February. And
Oh, yeah, Scars
I'm
Below.
really excited for that game.
Yeah, that's kind of like Returnal if it were like a slower paced action
Oh,
RPG.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
That's
cool.
the one
It's
I played
tough,
a
though, but-
demo for.
Yeah, we played a demo
Yeah,
for that one.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, that looked pretty
Dang.
good.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
I
don't
thought-
like the setting. I forgot about that.
I liked that demo. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was really polished, surprisingly. But yeah, sorry.
All right, Dan, what do you think is going to get over 90?
It is going to be Final Fantasy 16.
Over 90?
Yeah.
That'd be
For
great,
you.
I
man.
think it's
I
gonna
would-
be.
for you.
I think it's
I
gonna
want
skim.
that. I want that for you.
I want that too.
I
Me
think
too.
it's gonna skim by the like just
So
like-
like, get like a
I
90,
think it'll skim
91.
just under.
Yes.
90.5.
Sure. Maybe it'll be 89. Maybe
I
it'll be
hate it,
89.
dude. Hey, and I want that so hard. I
too,
would
me
love
too.
to wake up in a world where like there's a universally loved
I
Final
But
just
Fantasy.
have a
honestly-
vibe it's going to end up in the low 80s, and we're going to go, why do people hate this game? It's like, I feel like we're going to say this
Yeah.
is a 10 out
Yeah.
of 10.
See,
but
I have a
Well,
feeling.
because it's
So I'm coming from
Patriot.
the perspective of like again with 14 of like like that game is so beloved, like it's like one of the best MMOs to people of all time, and all the expansions that they've released.
But
and
how
each
many of these
expansion-
reviewers
Yeah,
are
but
playing that
15.
game though? How many of
15
these
came out
since then.
mainstream publication reviewers
that game
at
is
IGN?
very popular, Kyle. A
It
lot of people
is,
play
but
it.
not from mainstream.
you're
you know,
missing his
reviewers.
point.
No, I
Like
saying I
Carol
think
at
they
IGN, who's going to review this game, does not play Final Fantasy 14. You know,
this
like,
is where I think it's going to end up landing, even though I think it's going to be worthy of higher scores than that. But
it's
I could
definitely
be-
going to be better than 15. It has to be.
No,
I
I'm
think-
just saying
I-
this is the score.
No. I'm just saying, even though it gets the same score, like we're going to be
Like,
going,
Final
hey,
Fantasy
this is a better
14
game than Final Fantasy 15.
Is a
you know?
Metacritic of 83. Final Fantasy 14. So, like, Final Fantasy games are
well,
always.
that might.
gonna-
I wonder if that's
Even
tricky.
the remake only got an 89. So I feel like it's going to land in that same boat. But
Yeah.
boy,
We'll see.
Dan,
The
I would
remake is a
89.
90 plus game.
I would
for
love
sure.
that.
I would
That's
love
89
it.
is pretty close to 90, so I mean,
Dude,
we
if
could
it's
get
90,
close.
that means it might be like, sorry, Zelda, like this might be my favorite game of the year. If it's that good that everyone's universally pushing it over 90s, like, whew, I
That'd be amazing.
Also, I'm just gonna
I-
vote for my heart because that's how I do these things because
Yeah.
I don't care.
love it.
Me
Oh,
need
you know
you to
what?
care.
Not to be like, oh, whichever game gets above 90, but like Hogwarts Legacy, if that gets above 80, I will be
I'll be shocked.
so elated.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh my
seeing
God, it's
lots of
good.
sevens of
No,
that
this
game.
one's going to be like a
Sevens, lots of
74 to
eights.
76 range.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
totally think that.
Maybe
Yeah,
lower.
absolutely.
I feel like
But-
they're gonna Gotham
But
Knights
we'll
this
but
one.
we'll still have fun with it. We'll be like, dude, why do people hate this? This is so
Yeah.
cool.
This is gonna
Well,
be my
it'll
Gotham
be
Knights.
obvious. Right?
I swear to God, this is gonna be.
Who else didn't pick yet? Kyle?
Zelda. That's gonna be an easy 90, I think.
That's an easy one. All right. And Derek, you picked one.
Zelda.
And then we have Helvetti from Jeff over here.
So we
Hey
have
man,
from
you
his
don't know
heart.
this developer. This
Team Claw Claw.
So we have from his
I'm
heart.
all about pumping up the little man. I think that's great.
So we have one guy voting with his heart, 3 with their heads, and then Jeff is just the wild card. Wild card, bitches.
That's
Wild
just-
card, yeah.
look,
Helvetti.
it's just
I said to
I
pick
know-
the game that you're most excited for the first 6 months.
All right,
And
Derek,
then
you go
Tim
first.
takes
What
the-
Oh.
what's your overall most excited for game? So that has a release date. Oh, and we need to go over the without release dates real quick too. But go ahead.
It's between Wolong and Zelda. I'm gonna go ahead and say Zelda. I think. Oh no, shit! I forgot Final Fantasy 16. I'm gonna say for me, Final Fantasy 16.
Most excited. Okay. Dan, you right there too.
Yup.
Kyle, what about you?
Brothers from different lovers.
It's
Goddamn.
16, and it's by like a long shot. Like when I was making my list, like 16 was so I'm so much more excited for that than even Zelda or anything coming out this
Wow.
year.
Yeah, no, I gotta go Zelda for me personally, but 16 and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, those are both up there for me too.
Yeah, like you would think it'd be Star
I'm
Wars
actually
or Zelda.
surprised
Yeah.
you guys didn't pick Jedi Survivor to be delayed. I feel like that has a shot to be delayed.
Oh, I think it's going to.
Yeah, I think it'll be delayed like a month.
I was
though.
just going for the sure bet, which is definitely Zelda.
I just if I had to pick, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually comes out that date. I feel like it's going like we saw a lot in that short little time there, and I feel like it didn't look like it was a ton of new systems, but
That's
maybe I'm
fair.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
We didn't get
Right?
trailer overload on the first game either, so it's not like you know we got that one E3 demo that was shown over and over, and that was the game that everyone got hands on with whenever like
I think it's going to be familiar. If
so
you
yeah,
play-
I think
it's
Respawn's
gonna
pretty good about like
hitting.
hitting.
They do a good job of controlling their marketing, you know. So I think it's as far along as we think it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets delayed to April or May.
My most anticipated for these ones with the release dates would be the game I've been waiting feels like decades for, and that's Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, I just want it to be. I just want it to be good.
Please be
It'll
good.
be
Please.
good. It's
gonna be
Avalanche.
good.
It's Avalanche software. They're gonna
Yeah,
at least put it. It's got to be above 75.
I
They
think it's
don't
gonna
put out
definitely
anything
quality.
really bad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be quality. It's
Well,
gonna
don't
be
forget,
the
it's
issue.
the people who made the Disney Infinity games Avalanche. It's not the Mordor Avalanche.
Disney Infinity rocks though.
Yeah, people
was
love
popular.
those games.
I'm
They're
saying
fun.
the studio
They're
in
fun.
general does
They're
a
good.
good job of like
Yes.
keeping their crap together and releasing quality stuff.
They've proven
agree,
themselves
and
with
they've
handling
delayed
other
it
IP. They did
rightfully,
the
you
Cars
know?
game. They did Disney Infinity. Like they
Yeah.
handled IPs really well. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
And I
think
have
they'll
to give
do
them
it.
credit for their live stream showcases that they've been doing. Like
They're
they're
so
like half an
excellent.
hour or whatever, but like they're outstanding. Like
Yep.
like seeing how many mechanics they have included, like some of the gardening stuff, the riding around on a broom, and how actually free that is, and like the hippogriff traversal and like room of requirement updates. Like they added stuff in there that I'm like, I don't even need to do that. Like
I think they're reading the room really well with this
Yeah,
because if you
I
just said
agree.
Hogwarts Legacy, action RPG, pick your student, whatever, and they didn't show a ton, we would all assume this is going to be straight trash
Yeah,
based on every. But now they're showing us so much. Now we're like, this actually looks pretty good. So
exactly.
I think
They're
people are going to
reading
be
the
talking about
combat
this open
looks-
world for a long time. Like
I
it's
think
just
so.
like I think it's jam packed with stuff, and it's
the
a beloved
combat,
property. And
looks
despite all the
surprisingly,
controversy,
like-
people still love this stuff, man. You know.
there was
for
a Harry
sure.
Potter game for the PS2 or was it 360? But it was a non-Lego Harry Potter game that I remember. There was little elements of exploring,
I know what you're talking
Hogwarts,
about. Yeah.
and you could go to class. And I remember thinking like, man, I want something like this that really digs into this.
It might have been one of those licensed games that
It
came out
was one
like
of the movie games.
I think it was
Yeah,
Chamber
it-
of Secrets, maybe. It was.
I think there was one Prisoner of Azkaban. I think I played that one, and I was like, "Ooh!" Like you were doing a lot of
side stuff.
like a lot of like
Yeah.
wandering around Hogwarts grounds.
It was
that
fun.
I was very surprised by.
Yeah.
But this, like, I'm especially surprised by how fluid the combat looks and like how fast paced it can be. Like, because casting spells isn't like something that you just do in rapid fire or whatever. Like,
yeah,
so
you're actually saying the spell. And...
yeah, exactly. So like they made it look really like I don't know. They just made it look way more fast paced than I expected it to.
Fun.
I don't think for me, yeah, I'm not concerned about the quality of the game. I really truly think it is the sort of social aspect of everyone's feelings about a certain individual who created the world, and
I already
attached
hate
to
this
game,
discourse, the idea of discourse right when this game comes out.
So
Yeah,
It's
gonna be.
I'm pre-exhausted by it.
Every
yeah.
single review is gonna have to like talk about
Yeah,
it. And
they're gonna
like
have
that,
to.
and
Yeah,
I'm just
I
like,
can't
hey,
wait for
you know.
the Kotaku headline that's like, "Oh, the game is good, but doesn't override J.K. Rowling's
Yeah.
point of view."
It sucks.
Which is
'cause,
funny
like,
because that's like
there's,
the only
hundreds-
IP. All these IPs, all of them have someone involved with creating some part of it that we'd be
Yeah.
like, ew, that's who they are as a human being.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gross. We don't do that, but because she's so public, there it is. It is
I mean, Diablo 4 will not have a word about like, even though Blizzard's had a turbulent couple years,
Right.
like I promise it won't, but like this game, it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just like, I mean, Harry
It's a
Potter.
target. It's a
Harry
target.
Potter just became so popular with the books, and then they made all
That's-
the movies, and those were
Yeah,
really
that's one of those
popular,
things
like-
where like a popular thing needs to be knocked down a peg, at least in the social consciousness, I guess. So they were just
ignore that
waiting.
stuff.
They were just waiting for one person
What
involved
do
with
I
Harry
do?
Potter to say something
Yeah.
problematic, and they
Yeah,
could
just
cancel
ignore it. Unless you feel personally like this is a
Well, no,
conviction
I'm
of
not
mine.
on Twitter
but,
anymore, so I don't really see any
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Good
what's
call.
frustrating, because like you see people like on Twitter, for example, they're like, well, if anyone is even like streaming this game, I'm gonna block them, and I'm gonna.
yeah,
It's like,
there's a lot of grandstanding.
We gotta stop.
go,
We gotta stop.
bye.
We gotta
It's-
grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Agreed.
We all have feelings, and we're all feeling them and doing stuff. So you
Yeah.
know, like
Feel your
it's-
feelings and don't make everyone else feel your feelings, 'cause that's weird. All right, let's look at some game releases real quick that do not have specific dates, but maybe have release windows. There's a ton here, so we won't stop and look at all of them. But of the Q1
that's a lot.
of the Q1 and Q2 games, we've got Forza Motorsport, one that I
Yeah.
had. Also, one that actually Derek talked to me about was Lost Eidolons is coming to Xbox Series X. That's on PC now. It's getting pretty good response from, at least on the Steam reviews. It's getting pretty good reviews.
Dude, if you like Fire Emblem, you have to play
Yeah,
it.
I played the demo for it a while back, and I was like, "This is cool." So it's on my wish list. I just haven't purchased it yet. Let's see, Forza Motorsport. Talk about that. Redfall is still supposed to come out sometime in
I'm
the first half.
excited
think
for
it will.
Redfall.
I'm
I
so
think it
excited
will.
for Redfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
ready
good.
for
What
it.
they've
We've
shown looks
seen
good.
more gameplay of this than Suicide Squad, so it's totally coming out in 2023.
Yeah,
so.
I think it is.
Don't
Uh,
buy Returnal on PC. You have to have 32 gigabytes of RAM. I'm just kidding. It's such a stupid article.
Yeah, Returnal hitting PC. Yep, Stalker 2. They're still planning now to get. This is misspelled. Chernobyl.
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 That's arriving sometime in that same. And same with Starfield is also scheduled for
I'm
that.
This
so
gen-
pumped
show
for
is
this
full
game,
of
dude.
like 4 kids and 1 dad. Seriously.
Yeah.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
why are we,
better-
why are we
you better
saying it
believe
like
it.
that?
Guys, can we move forward? Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Kids, please stop. God, even when I'm doing a podcast, I have to
But
parent.
Dad, Chernobyl.
Oh, I gotta highlight
Nine
Nine
Souls is
Souls.
good, yeah.
Dan played that one and put up a video of
Yeah.
the gameplay. That's a demo
That's
at
a-
least.
that's
But-
a
That
cool
game
demo,
looks,
dude.
yeah. Visually,
Yeah.
I love the visual aesthetic of that
Oh.
game.
Oh man, Last Case of Benedict Fox is 2023 too. That game looks awesome, dude.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
art
it
style on
does.
that looks great. Tesla Grad. I remember playing the first Tesla Grad back in the day, and then
Yeah.
it's another side-scrolling kind of puzzle action and adventure game. Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria, that survival game that was announced this year.
I don't even know.
I don't remember
what
this at
that
all.
is.
I don't.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a survival game. Yeah.
Survival game. I think you're like hiding in the
dwarf, I
dwarven caves or something, but
Huh.
Oh,
that one's supposed to come
maybe
out.
I saw it and then just because I'm not a survival guy, so
Yeah, man.
Valheim 1.0, I'll be shocked if it releases 1.0 next year. I'm glad they're releasing quality content. I talked about it last week. They're just moving slowly because their team's still small. So I still think 2024 till that game is 100% completed, but I could be wrong. They're targeting
Let's see that.
quarter 2 of next year. Let's see here.
Telltale's back, baby.
I thought Blue
Expanse.
Protocol.
Yeah, the
looked
Expanse.
cool.
I'm pumped for that game.
The Expanse, yep, Telltale
Yeah.
series. Blue Protocol does look cool. That was revealed recently. That Bandai Namco action.
Oh
RPG.
crap! Is that? Hold on. I didn't know Expanse was a Deck 9 game. That kind of piques my interest even more because
Oh,
they
cool.
did True Colors. They did Life is Strange True Colors.
Yeah.
That game is freaking outstanding.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that-
the art style for Expanse looks really neat.
yeah,
Looks really good.
cool. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, I like that. That one looks good. Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VII
you
Rebirth.
apologize to your daddy.
God damn it. God
Final
damn it.
Fantasy VII Rebirth is still scheduled for Q4 of this year. I mean, listen, I'm not here to be some kind of like delays are. That's not my
Yeah,
role.
no.
But
It-
I will say I will be shocked and delighted if we have 2 huge Final Fantasy games releasing
So
in the same
Q4
year.
rolls into the next year, I think January and February. So
Yeah, that's gonna be 20.
Okay. To be clear,
yeah.
it does not on this
I mean,
calendar. This
20.
is just meant to be a calendar
okay.
year calendar.
Yeah,
so they're
Gotcha,
saying
gotcha.
they were like when they announced it. I don't know if you remember this, but they said by the end of 2023.
They
Like
did.
Sure.
they did announce that. So if it does not land during 2023, it's technically a delay. So we'll see.
I don't think it'll be 2023.
I don't think so either. Alan Wake 2 did not even get a release window, but
Nah,
So not
that's,
coming
that's
out.
a
Just so you
2024
know,
game.
it
if I
wouldn't
ever heard
hit.
one.
It would hit 2023 if they didn't keep releasing Persona on every platform, because
Yeah,
that's
that's what
what's
it
holding
is.
them back.
Yep.
Oh, Remedy
Yeah.
does Persona? Is that what...
Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
the resources are shared amongst all
Well,
developers. and
actually,
publishers.
I'll go ahead and say this. I feel like Control 2 is going to come out before Alan Wake 2. I don't know why I feel that,
Oh,
What?
interesting.
but
Yeah.
that's what I feel.
You're right.
What?
I don't
What?
even think they've started. I would love that. I'm a huge
They
Arc
announced
2.
it a while ago. I can't remember
Vin
when, but-
Diesel's hard at work at Arc 2. I can't wait to see what he comes up with for that one.
He's
Damn it.
It's
personally
just
coding it.
I'm picturing Vin in a studio by himself,
Typing away, like programming.
I'm doing this for my family.
Doing this for my family. Programming his family.
Speaking of which, I found something earlier. I'll send it in the Facebook group, but it's Final Fantasy and Vin Diesel related. So.
All right. Armored Core 6, which was
Or not
just
the group,
officially
the-
announced. Fires Rubicon. That one didn't
I
get a
am
release
not
date, but-
excited about Armor Core at all. I'm sure some of you like that stuff,
Very
but
excited about it.
That's me and Kyle. That's me
that
and Kyle.
is like
right?
the most like that bummed me out. And I know a lot of people were like so excited, but I was like, no, I
The
want
crowd there loved it.
Bloodborne. I want
Sorry, dude.
Sorry,
I'm a robot, buddy.
Sorry, bro.
anything but
High five,
Armored
Kyle.
Core.
Their resources are going
Anything
elsewhere.
but more Blood Souls games. Like, goodness, take a break.
No
Yes.
resources for
I
you.
mean, I can understand your feelings for that, but just as a fan of
Sure, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, Kyle
Assassin's
and I
Creed.
are happy about that.
Assassin's Creed Mirage didn't get a release date either, but that was
That's
announced.
got to be coming out though. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
That's
definitely
like a
coming out
smaller
next
that's
year.
scale
another
title.
smaller scale title.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Which
is. Yeah.
kind of took away from my excitement because I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. So
I am too.
I know people get bummed, like, oh, another Assassin's Creed. But for me, another announcement, I get excited. So when I looked into it and saw it was like a smaller title, I was a little bummed about it.
Sleep at the wheel
Oh.
in that game for sure. Yeah.
Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora got bumped back to a
Yes.
nebulous release
Y'all
date.
seen this? Have you seen this game?
So
Avatar?
I don't know that this game's ever going to come out. Honestly,
I think it's canceled already. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 7.0, too much water.
Or
Dude,
they'll just-
Ubisoft has like 20 Assassin's Creed games to make. They're not making this game.
Oh,
Yeah,
or
and they're
or
also working on a Star
or
Wars game.
they'll somehow transform it into a mobile game or something. Like
Right,
I
they're
just
also
don't
working on
see
a-
see
that.
them.
They're working on the Star Wars game too. Like Ubisoft has a lot of
Ubisoft's
Yeah.
busy,
irons
man.
in the fire.
They got a
so-
Well,
big
and,
Star Wars game.
by the way, I'm
Ubisoft
excited for
is-
like 18 of those 20 Assassin's Creed games. Just FYI.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was not a dig.
Ubisoft is probably one of the biggest publishers.
Yeah,
So if anybody can release too many games at a time,
it's French.
I
EA,
think
dude.
they
It's
can do
French
it.
EA.
Yeah, no, I agree.
and I
agree.
think
Oh.
Avatar is a big get for them, so I think they will release like that game.
So I highlighted Convergence just because I
As
think
you
this
should.
game looks awesome.
Yeah.
Of course I loved Arcane, and so this is the story of Echo from that
Yeah.
game series, from that world.
Oh,
and
hell,
it's a side.
I didn't even know there was a game.
It's a
Yeah,
side-scrolling
dude, you got to
action
look up the
game.
artwork. It looks awesome. It looks so cool.
And so that was supposed to come out this year, but they
Yeah.
quietly delayed it into 2023, generically 2023.
Yeah.
But that game looks really cool. They actually kind of went back to the drawing board. They had some stuff built for it, and then they kind of re-announced it, and it looked a little different. They upgraded some stuff, so it's still in the works, and I am excited for
But
this.
it's still at its core an action platformer. Right?
action
It's not-
platformer is what it
yeah,
looks like.
That's
so.
what I'm excited
Okay.
about.
Cool.
So that one looks cool. Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes, of course, for your Suikoden fix sometime this.
Yeah.
I really liked the
Excited for that.
primer this year of that kind of
Are
easy
we
to play.
really releasing Fallout 4 again?
Yeah, I know. I was like, what the hell? What in the Elder Scrolls is going on over here?
Give it
What
the
in
idea. Give it the Skyrim.
Fallout
treatment.
4.
There are
Flint-
going to be
Flintlock does look
versions that
pretty cool,
crash
so.
less, maybe. You know?
Let's see. Let's keep going here. Hogwarts Legacy. for
Lies
Switch?
of
Oh, that does have a
P.
few.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's
There we go. Lies of P. All right, cool. Here's
There
a
we
couple
go.
good
Lying
ones.
about peas.
Lies of P looks great. I can't
Lies
can't
of the
wait for that
Wiener.
one. And then
Oh,
Like a
man.
Dragon.
Lying about your wiener
Mandover is
size.
His name.
two Like a Dragon titles.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm really excited for this one
Fine.
because I need to know
Totally.
what we should not be having that main character back after the sixth game. So
Oh, really?
I need to
Oh,
know
wow.
why he's back, and that's what this game's all about. Very excited.
Lollipop Chainsaw is a remake that no one knew was ever
Wow.
going to happen.
1,000% not getting that this next year. That's crazy.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I think, is confirmed for fall.
Yep.
That
I
actually
think
should be in the Q3,
I think it's going to hit that
Q4.
date.
That should be in the Q3, Q4.
I honestly think they're going to hit it too because Insomniac's been very open about like,
Yeah.
here's our
Yeah.
progress right now, and we really
Yeah.
think we're going to hit this window.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spoil it because there's no other place to talk about it. But this is my most anticipated game in 2023, like easily. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Like
I think they'll hit it because I
Yeah,
think
me too.
Yeah, for sure.
they already released Miles Morales. It's in the same city. They're
Dude.
gonna have a lot of the assets.
I think
already
they're
created.
gonna add some burrows. I think that's.
Oh yeah, but I'm
that's my
saying
theory,
it's
but
not
yeah.
like they're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
No, you're
and-
right.
Yeah.
No.
They're
Years.
gonna just enhance that map that's already there. I think more
Do
indoor
you think you'll
areas.
get to freely switch between Spidey and Miles?
Hmm.
Between Peter and Miles?
It
I
would
don't
be
know
cool.
about freely like GTA 5 or something, but
What if it is like that though? What if you can
that
switch
would be
the other one
rad.
and they're
That
like
would
mid
super
swing?
lose
rad.
it.
They're like mid swing in a different part of the city or something.
Dude,
and you
I
switch.
think we're gonna have sections where you play as Venom. That's what I think.
Oh my god, dude.
That's my big.
Kyle,
that's my.
Kyle,
that's,
Kyle, don't do this
I
to me,
would
Kyle.
Dan just
Don't do
died.
I'm
that.
not. I listen.
just-
I bring some delays or negativity, but I show up with some pretty cool theories. All right. So.
My gosh,
Although
Tim
so-
had me all excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish talking.
Well, no.
I
So
was
like,
skipping ahead.
I think you're gonna play as Venom, but Peter Parker Venom.
Ready,
Sure.
bro?
Because I saw the logo on because the game has already shown
Black
up.
suit
on the
Spider-Man?
PlayStation.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that Venom. Okay. I
Oh,
see what
press
you're
square to
saying.
Dan's
Okay.
Venom. Got it.
Plus, yeah. Dig
well,
on
combo attacks kind of like was it like in Final Fantasy VII the Yuffie DLC? They like just threw that in there with her and her companion. So like definitely having some really cool like finishing like duo combo like finishers like would be really sick in that for sure.
Derek, what were
Absolutely.
you gonna say? You were
Damn.
excited about something?
You had me. I saw Mortal Kombat Onslaught. I was like, wait, they announced the next Mortal Kombat, and then I saw it.
this. You saw the
Yeah,
answer?
yeah.
Oh man.
But this is my favorite part about this is we don't know who's publishing this thing yet.
Oh my gosh.
I love that you like bolded it too to like bait
I
us.
did that. I
Like
did that on
Mortal
purpose. I
Kombat.
thought it was
That
hilarious.
is top-notch bait right there, dude.
I thought it was hilarious.
That's unfortunate.
Neon Blood is not a role-playing version of Neon White. Is that?
It is not,
Oh,
sadly.
damn. All right.
Yeah.
It's part of the
That's
Neon Open Universe.
Yeah.
or whatever.
I mean,
Um,
they
Hey,
could spin it off.
Neon Gaming Universe.
Payday 3's been announced, but
I'm so excited for that.
we don't know
Oh.
anything about when it would come out or what platforms. Pikmin 4, of course, was announced with
I feel
teasers.
like I've never played Pikmin before. I feel like I would love these games.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I think you
super
would.
adorable and very creative.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pikmin games are fun.
They're
They're
very,
very
fun.
interesting puzzle games that I'm too stupid
If-
for, but I
if
love that
3
franchise. I
ever
love watching
gets
people
like
play that
super
game.
cheap, I'll buy it back.
Yeah.
On the Switch.
Remnant 2 was announced, which I know
Yeah.
Kyle, you talked about how you liked that game a lot. Derek, I know you enjoyed that one too. So that one at some point, I didn't realize Gearbox published that.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that
Only
either.
this one. I don't think they did the last
Oh,
one.
They
okay.
didn't do
so,
that
yeah.
last one.
Okay.
I think it was a smaller
It was.
studio title, everything.
Okay. Then Replace, which is one of the coolest looking pixelated
Yeah.
side scrollers.
Dude.
Oh,
This
yeah,
has to be
and
coming
Xbox.
out, right? I mean, they've.
Well, they had to
it's
delay,
sat
right?
on
Because they're
this,
based out of
right?
Belarus, which really got
Mhm.
hit with all the conflict over there.
Oh,
So they delayed
he
it.
Yeah.
roped in by Putin.
They
yeah.
probably weren't.
Correct.
Yeah, they probably
were
weren't, like,
they were
working on it
very
for a
heavily
while.
impacted by it. They all had to
They were minding their
relocate.
business, and he was like, "Hey, you come help me. You come help me."
Yeah, and they were like, "No, we're making a game over here."
We're trying to
Uh,
we're trying to replace you with this game.
Dan, I should have highlighted this one too. Sea of Stars looks freaking awesome.
Oh, dude, god damn it, yeah.
yeah.
Like, holy
that-
crap.
that
Okay,
game-
I
okay,
forgot about this
language.
one.
God damn.
Yeah.
Sea of Stars looks really cool. It's like
Yeah,
a 1632-bit RPG. Looks amazing.
It's literally an homage to
I just have to call it Slitterhead. I'm super excited for that game.
Oh,
that-
Slitterhead.
You're a madman
yeah.
for that.
Hey Dan,
But,
doesn't Sea of Stars have like
all
a
about that.
Secret of
All
Mana
about
look
that,
to it,
dude.
right? Like
It's a horror
it's
game. I like
it's
horror
like
games.
it's really like a mixture of that, Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG. Like it's like this homage to all of
It looks-
those
yeah.
like
Honestly,
we just
that's
got a game that's
that's
an
what
homage. We don't
Chained
need any
Echoes
more.
does that a little bit too. But
what
this
game
one-
is that, Derek?
Chained Echoes?
I bought it because it's developed by one
Chain-
guy.
Chain of Echoes? Chained Echoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chain.
I highlighted this one too just because I don't know that the game itself will be any good, but it's another League of Legends spin-off that's in the
Right.
works. Song
Yeah.
of Nunu, which looks like a much more like kid-friendly tale within this League of Legends universe. I just listen, after Arcane, I am hungry for more stories in that universe because I am very intrigued by the characters and have no interest in playing the main game. You know, I just want stories in that universe and spin-off games. So
Yeah, I'll take the spin-off games that are not League of Legends. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
agreed.
I would agree.
This Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remastered. Those did not get a release date, but I do.
Those
They gotta
will
be
come
coming.
out.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
they'll
think
come
those will
out.
actually probably arrive in the
If
first
they're,
half
if they're
of the
just
year.
remasters,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
they would.
expecting much trouble.
Because they
with
showed
the
a lot
development.
of the remaster work and did some side by sides that were out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got that in the first half of the year. The Plucky
agree.
Squire is one of the coolest looking reveals we saw.
Oh my god, dude! I forgot about this game.
Really cool,
Oh,
like
yeah,
coming
yeah.
off of the storybook into the real
Yeah.
world visuals, like
That's creative as hell,
Yeah.
dude.
really good looking game. I don't know if it'll be good, but the visuals look cool.
Yeah.
Wolf Among Us 2, of course. Excited
Dude,
about that one.
give me
Finally,
that game, Jesus,
Yep. He's not listening
baby
to you.
Jesus.
I was gonna say he's not the developer. Last I
I don't
checked.
see. Let me check over here.
Maybe Jesus is not the developer. Okay.
He's
Yeah,
not.
Jesus Tell Games. Yeah,
First Wolf Among Us.
baby Jesus games.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. All right, so that's all I had highlighted. But there's a
Warhammer
lot.
Space Marine 2 is like in my top 10 most anticipated for the year.
Oh, okay, nice.
I'm curious to see what they do with WWE 2K23 because AEW Fight Forever is supposed to come out next year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
By the
What
way,
about,
that's another most anticipated. I totally forgot about.
Ugly. There's a game called Ugly, and it's being developed by Team Ugly. I don't know what this is.
Wow.
That sounds like a game Derek would make. Are you making that game, Derek?
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's all of the fat women models.
Oh, God, for
Oh,
God's
good
sakes.
lord.
You are literally the worst. It goes you
He embraces
all
it,
the
though.
way up here, and then Putin kind of like a little lower, you know, like
He embraces it. All right, guys, let's.
Chris Pratt, then like
Chris Pratt.
I mean,
God,
Chris
that
Pratt and I are pretty much the
He's
same.
Mario.
He's Mario.
Hey, a couple quick headlines I wanted to talk about. One, just almost like a public service announcement for PC gamers. Don't forget that the Steam sale starts this coming week on the 22nd. The holiday Steam sale begins, which is funny because they just had one, but there's another one.
It's always good because CD Keys usually matches them and does it lower. So
Yep.
some really good
So make
deals.
sure you do that. Epic Games has their sale going on now, including their 25% off coupon if you spend 15 or more, and they're giving away a free game every day, starting yesterday for the rest of this year. So make sure you're getting all your PC deals. There's so many stores that are giving away stuff, so go check it out. GOG also has a bunch of good deals too. You can check them out. Greenman Gaming as well. Lots of good stuff out there. All right, so we did see, this is really interesting to me, I thought, because we're about to see the release of the Last of Us TV show. God of War TV show is gonna launch on Amazon. It's officially ordered by Amazon.
Yeah,
so we've
'cause
already known it was in the works. But
Last time we talked about it, it was just like Amazon is pursuing this. We don't know yet. They're pursuing this in Mass Effect. We don't know yet, but now they've like hired somebody. They want a full season. Like they're hitting the ground running now.
I
gotta
just
tell
feel
you,
like
man.
Mass Effect is like the most obvious that should have had like a show
Oh, for
or
sure.
a movie or
Yeah.
something like.
If you
20
can
years.
make you basically like they basically made a version of that out of the Expanse, and I'm like, if you can do the Expanse, just do Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the same setting, a lot of politics, a lot of the same characters. You know, like come on.
I do
man.
think these two modern God of War games tell one of the best 1-2 punch stories across any
Yeah.
medium that I've ever seen. Like whether it's two movies or whatever, like it's one of the best.
I
So I'm
agree.
excited to see what they do with
And that's what we were talking about in the chat.
TV
Is like,
show.
man, I hope they keep the spirit of the 2018 one because that's really where the story took off, and maybe do flashbacks of like the original trilogy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you do the original.
Because
Successfully.
exactly. I don't
You'd
know
have-
how you
yeah.
can do it now.
You show scenes of it.
It's
and
Not,
if just
yeah, it's not as
Into that.
heartfelt. I feel like you would just need to do flashbacks of like to show you that Kratos was a terrible
Right.
person.
Right.
Bad
Super,
things
like,
happened to him,
violent,
but he
aggressive
was
scenes.
a terrible person. And
Yeah.
now you can kind of see him trying to be a father and trying to
Yeah.
change his ways in a way.
What
Yep.
kind of made me a little excited, and not a lot of other people excited though, is the fact that it's the Wheel of Time showrunner that's going to be developing the show. Because I like the Wheel of Time, at least season 1. They haven't done. I think season 2 is going to come out in 2025 or some crap because post production takes forever. But that made me pretty excited because I think that person's got a good hand on the wheel.
Well, there's a
Oh,
Death
wow.
Stranding film also in the
Yep.
works. Death
And
Stranding
by wheel,
movies.
I mean Wiener. Yeah, it's a shame that Kyle just stepped away because
I mean, the game is a movie.
Pretty
So,
much.
I mean, it's a walking simulator movie.
Well, you guys were just talking last week about how Kojima he basically wants to be a filmmaker. Like that's
Yeah.
always been his thing, and so that's how he makes his games. He makes his games as a filmmaker, really.
He's just crazy. Like I'm playing
Yeah.
Death Stranding, and I'm literally going, this is dumb, and I like it, but it's
yeah,
dumb. This is dumb.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
a lot of
most
it
of it's
doesn't make sense.
nonsense, but I love it anyway, and that's
Yeah.
that's the beauty of what he makes. Is that, and I don't mean nonsense in that it's not good. I mean nonsense in that it doesn't make logical sense. Maybe you can eventually piece things together and look at it and go, guys, it does make sense if you just okay, maybe. But in general, most of the dialogue and things that across the Metal Gear games and Death Stranding that what I played, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping will happen with Death Stranding, because like I am 30 hours in. I am getting closer, not close to the end. I'm still like 20 missions away, which again, like I said, each mission is not that long. It's not like we're talking like a 45-minute mission in like a
Yeah.
God of War game or something like that. But I'm like 20 missions away, and then Kyle said I know the last 5 chapters are 1 mission apiece, whereas all the other chapters can have anywhere from 5 to 15 missions in them. So that means they're very story heavy. So what I'm hoping is it'll kind of tie every weird thing that we've seen that made absolutely no sense and kind of explain it. And I feel like, and this is why I play
Kojima's not
Kojima
explaining.
When
games.
does he
though.
ever do that
Yeah.
in his other games?
Yes,
just gonna
but
get
he
more weird.
does. He always ties it back to where he can make sense, and then he usually has a twist that usually, for me,
I guess
usually
5 did
goes,
that. Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, like really? This is
He
what's
does this
been
crazy
happening the whole
Kojima
time?"
thing where like
Yeah.
enough of it makes sense where you can kind of piece sections of it.
Yeah, like I
and,
get what the game so far is about. It's for those who don't know,
Baby
Death
oil.
Stranding is all about this terrible thing that happens that disconnects everybody, and now you're just this walking simulator who's trying to connect everybody to this one corporation so they can communicate with each other and also use
Yeah.
each other's like special things to rebuild the world. But you can see that there's negative effects from all this communication. I actually think, again, I haven't gotten to the ending. I think this is his commentary on social media. Like, I don't think he likes social media. And I think he's trying to say, while there are good things to social media and being connected, it actually does more harm. That's just my theory.
No,
But-
that's you nailed it. That's exactly what a lot of the themes of that game is about.
So
Makes sense
I
in the
like
trailer
that,
for the second
'cause
one where
I
it
would
says maybe
agree with him.
reconnecting was a bad idea, right? Wasn't that on
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
the trailer for the second one?
Well,
so the movie will be interesting to see. Like, will
yeah.
it just mirror the game? Is it in that world, but it's a spin-off of it? Like, how
There's been some details about it because apparently either Kojima wants to fast track it or he's co-producing this with another studio that did Barbarian, which is a great movie. And they want to fast track this movie either way. Like, they want to hit the ground running and actually get it done, and not just like Metal Gear Solid, just talk about it for years and years, like Oscar Isaac is doing and Jordan Vogt Roberts and stuff. Like, they don't want to just talk about it; they want to do it. And they mentioned already that they're going to introduce new elements and characters from the universe in the movie, which is interesting. Maybe it's like a totally different area of that world.
Could with Death Stranding.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
it's
we
not
mentioned
like Metal Gear Solid where you have your specific characters that everybody be like, that person better be in it and they better be
Yeah.
exactly like
Yeah.
this, and they
Right.
can't deviate from that. You could actually get away with it in Death Stranding and be like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a whole country, right?
there's
The
there's
game is
certain
in the entire
rules
country.
there's
so-
certain rules of the world
It's
that you have to
Forbidden
maintain.
West. You're just traveling to the west.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's like certain rules that the game set up, like how the world operates now and what technology is there. Like, you have to follow those rules, but character-wise, yeah, you got a lot of freedom.
I would agree, Tim. I would agree.
Speaking of
Mouthy.
Amazon from earlier, how Amazon's doing the God of War show. They are going to be publishing the next single-player Tomb Raider game that's being developed by Crystal Dynamics. That's pretty cool. Look,
I'm
they got some
excited
money,
for Crystal
so, all right.
Dynamics to get out of Avengers development hell. That's really, really exciting. Stop supporting that game, guys. That's ridiculous.
Please make it stop.
Not the gamers, the developer.
I'm
ridiculous.
curious how that game overall did. Like, I know I'm not talking about like people hated it. We got that. I'm saying the fact that they keep developing, keep making
had to make
content.
money.
Is it actually doing pretty good?
I think
It's
there are.
on
I think there are
Game
still like
Pass.
dedicated players that like are constantly on the subreddit for it and stuff like that. I think it does have enough dedicated players for them to be like, I mean, I guess we got to keep going, right? You know, we had a roadmap. We got to commit to it.
It's just interesting that they must have enough people regularly buying the stuff because there's not like a subscription or anything. So
no, it's all in-game add-on
Free,
stuff,
though, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
all
it's
the
free.
DLC is free, all of it. So
Yeah,
like
that's what's
everything
weird.
you're buying is basically power-ups and cosmetic stuff. Like that's
very,
it.
very
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I wanted to also cover some of the quick hits on things we're playing, things we're watching, and then close out with Jeff's thoughts on Avatar.
Jeff,
But
have you seen
any-
it? Have you seen Avatar?
anything?
7.8, too much water.
Any other major news from this week before we move on from headlines that you guys wanted to highlight? Anybody?
Oh, I thought it was cool that we already touched on the fact that Ubisoft is working on a Star Wars game. I think it's cool that they're at a point where they're going to play test it. This is like the story-driven open world one. I'm just excited about that in general, like as a whole. Like that's really cool.
Even though it's super corporate, but whatever, man.
Yeah, it's open world games are all corporate now. If it's
They are
by a
totally
AAA
corporate.
developer.
Listen, I'll
I mean,
believe you that they're corporate when there's literally in the game a link to go buy that thing that you see in the game on Amazon at that moment. Like then I'm like, all right, this is corporate.
exactly.
This is corporate.
this is cool.
Like the next God of War game is going to be nothing but Amazon banners and
Well,
stuff.
you know, Tomb Raider could have that. Be like, hey, do you like this ice pick? You can buy that on Amazon right now.
God damn it. God damn it.
Hey, wanted to.
I just want to give before
ahead.
you go. I was just
Yeah.
gonna give a couple of shout outs first because like I said in the beginning of the show, I buy everything. I've got a ton of brand new games that I'm barely touching, and I'm going back to older stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what we're on
So,
right now. So yeah, give us a list of some of your quick hits.
So Death Stranding, obviously, I put in like 6 hours today. I totally did not work. I ignored everything that had to do with my job, and I was just like, Death Stranding, Death Stranding.
They
So Death
deserved
Stranding's
it.
one of them I'm playing. I am enjoying it. Yes, there are definitely some frustrations to it. There are things that I'm like, man, I wish they would have done this earlier. Like I think at about the 25, 26 hour mark is when I'm like, oh, I got a machine gun. Cool. And then he proceeds to tell me killing people's bad. So don't do it. So what do? I go into a camp and I start shooting everybody. So I don't listen to him, but apparently there's negative impact for
You
killing
did this in
people.
Outer Worlds too. Like you just killed whole planets at a time. Yeah.
God damn it.
But luckily they do unlock, like, you can unlock machine guns that what is it called? I'm forgetting the word. They're non-lethal. So I'm now using those just because I don't want the negative ramifications of killing everybody. But overall, enjoying the game. Looking forward to hopefully finishing out the story. I'm curious to see how I feel about it. Again, I was one of the people that actually really loved how Metal Gear Solid 5 finished off, so I appreciate Kojima, even though I'm not at all a fanboy. So I will definitely say I hate this game if I hate it. But for right now, I really like it. And then the big thing, I want to give a shout out to The Witcher 3. I mean, I absolutely love that I was able to import my PS4 save, which I've beat the game twice on the PS4. I was able to import it on PC, Xbox, and PS5. Also, the game looks amazing. Maybe it's not running perfectly on PCs. I'm not having any issues, whether I have ray tracing all the way maxed out or I turn that off. I'm having zero issues. So really enjoying the game. It's gorgeous. And I miss it. It's just one of the best games. That game I definitely have nostalgia for. As soon as I turn it on, I hear the music, I'm in the atmosphere. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, same here.
And so
7
think
years
that's
old
it.
that game. 7.5 years old that game.
And Mass Effect 2. I did go back and beat Mass
Oh.
Effect 2. I started playing it in the Legendary Edition. I beat the first one and then started the second one. Got really far into the second one. So I just finished it off and then started Mass Effect 3. It's good to be back. Again, I'm just kind of in the mood for nostalgia.
Yeah, man.
And then the last one is, I do want to say Lost Eidolons is definitely worth. I paid $25 for it. For me, so far, it's definitely worth that. Because as soon as I booted up and started playing, I was like, this is literally Fire Emblem.
It's like a grittier Fire Emblem.
Yeah, but it's I would say more mature.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem, and it's got great graphics. I mean, it's double A still, but it looks really good. I'm impressed. I'm definitely gonna play more of that game.
Yeah, that's one that because I played the demo for it last summer. I compared it to what that King Arthur strategy game does to XCOM. It's like a not quite as high budget version of XCOM, but it's set in medieval times. It's really neat. I like that a lot. Lost Eidolons is the same thing to Fire Emblem, where it's like, hey, this is like a different approach to that type of gameplay. It's pretty cool. Speaking of nostalgia, I finally played some Chained Echoes, which we mentioned last week, but no one actually has
Oh,
played.
yeah.
it, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think.
did start. I did start that too.
So I played it for a little while. I'm going to keep playing this game. This game is really cool. It actually starts with a straight up, we love Chrono Trigger, everybody. Like it's that type of an opening because the opening of Chrono Trigger, your mom wakes you up, whatever name you put in for yourself. She'll say your name a couple times and then say wake up, and you wake up. She opens your curtains because it's the day to go to the fair or whatever. This opens that way, but of course your main character is not there. Like you find out like, oh, okay, this is just a dream he's having. So it's just kind of a cool opening to say wink wink. This is if you like Chrono Trigger, we do. So I like that. But the actual game itself is pretty fun. I really like the combat system. It's pretty creative. There's lots of elements that you're going to want to hit to keep your team in this overdrive state. Did you guys play this game yet? Anybody play this?
No, not yet.
I did.
Not yet.
Okay.
I had played the demo back when they had the demo, but
So there's an overdrive bar across the top that your whole team and the enemies really feed into. And if it's in the yellow, nothing happens. You're just kind of working it's building up as you get attacked and as you attack. And if you stay in the green, it's kind of like almost like driving a car. You want to be right in that sweet spot, but if you go too fast, you'll overheat. And in this case, if it goes into the red, your team will take double damage, and it's really bad. You don't want to be in the overdrive mode. And so it'll tell you with a little symbol, perform this kind of elemental move to bring that bar back down. So if you start to get up too high, you can bring it back down. And you kind of want to keep it in the green, and it sort of helps dictate if you want stat bonuses in that green, where you have higher defense and higher attack, make sure that you're mixing up your attacks, and it'll keep changing what element to use. I just think it's a really cool
It
system.
forces you to defend and all that stuff.
Defending,
Stuff you may ignore.
Yep.
At least in the beginning of the game, you would ignore it, but now you can't ignore it because, like you said, you'll overheat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought it on the Switch. Looks good on the OLED Switch. Runs good.
Yep.
Seems like it could be a cool game.
just want to remind everyone this game exists because of me. So you're welcome.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Have you played it?
I mean, I kickstarted
You're
it.
trash.
So
Get out of here. Get him out.
He wanted to make sure
I
it existed.
literally funded this game to exist, so you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
You're probably
deadbeat
gonna
dad.
be
I
that
made
way
him.
on like
He gave them
Final
like
Fantasy
$1.50.
16. We're gonna have a show and be like, "Hey, how excited did you like Final Fantasy 16? I haven't played it yet. I haven't even opened up my game
I'm
yet."
still streaming.
You're being very clever right now, is what you're doing.
So yeah, I do think if you like Chrono Trigger especially, but really it's a great kind of love letter to those 16, 32-bit RPGs. I think it's so great. The music's fantastic too. And by the way, the characters automatically, there's no button to hold to sprint. They just already sprint. So you move
There you
very
go.
quickly around the area. And I was like, that's just one of those things that you don't appreciate until you've played a lot of the older games where your character walks so
Yeah.
freaking slow.
Okay.
And I love
Have
that.
either of you gotten a mech yet?
I rode in one, and it got
Okay.
one quick fight at the very beginning, but then that's about it. Though.
Okay.
Because things didn't go well, and then we're back on the ground fighting that way.
Okay.
So yeah, I just played through the first boss and the first major story moment, and a bunch of stuff happens to the world, and then I kind of played that moment basically so far. So not very far into it, but boy, do I like it! It's really cool. Played a little bit of Need for Speed Unbound. You guys already talked about this. I just wanted to touch on it and just confirm what you said, which it looks cool. It controls well. Like if you like the Forza Horizon games, I think this is a great racer to kind of complement that. If you like that style where it's got some elements of realistic control, sort of, but it's mostly arcadey and it's just fun. It's just a fun racing game. And so I thought what I played, the very little that I played, less than an hour, I still thought it was really cool. So I thought
my only beef with the game. I mean, I have some beefs with the handling. It gets a little crazy sometimes.
Does
But
it?
my
Okay.
only beef with that game is I just feel like the progression is way too slow. Way too slow. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm not
okay.
saying like you have to give me the fastest car right away or I should be able to upgrade everything. But I've been playing for like 7 or 8 hours and I've made minor like upgrades.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's one thing that Forza Horizon does is they give you just this. Every time you do anything, they're like, "Here's a bunch of stuff. Here's some new paint. Here's a
Yeah.
new car." And it's
Tons of wheel spins.
they're just constantly feeding you. It's like steady drip of stuff, and that's why I love
Which
that.
I
experience.
think they overload you.
That's
and
fair.
this is more story based, so I'm okay with it going slower. What I'm saying is I feel like I can't not only can I not afford another car, I can't afford to really upgrade my car significantly where I feel like
that's
I'm
fair.
getting faster. I only feel like I'm upgrading my takeoff speed and
Oh,
stuff like that. but
Speaking of the
not my
story, I think the dialogue is pretty cringe. Like I was like, I don't know if I want
the
to do a whole
main
story.
character's okay. It's Tess that
They're both
she
bad.
talks and I want to punch her.
Yeah.
But like the
I
owner
enjoy
of
it.
the shop,
I don't really care.
fine.
It's not supposed to be good
Yeah,
writing. It's
No,
supposed
I
to be-
only
while
bring
you're
it up
racing.
because it's a story mode, right? And they make you sit through a lot of cutscenes and there's a ton of
Yeah.
dialogue. If they didn't have so many cutscenes and so much dialogue, I went Forza Horizon again. There's a story there, kind of. There's cutscenes, but it's so unintrusive you barely remember
but
it or
they're
think about
they're
it.
cringe too.
Yes,
It's
but they're-
racing
they're-
game.
but they're
Racing games
unintrusive.
cringe.
Yeah. I think the dialogue in Forza is maybe not as colorfully cringe, but still pretty like bad. You know?
They're-
I think you guys are
they're-
missing what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not intrusive. So far in Need for Speed Unbound, it makes you sit through a ton of it at the jump. Like I barely got through 2 races and there's probably 15 minutes of dialogue and cutscenes, and I was like, guys,
Oh, that's
Come-
just starting the story. I guess the reason why I wasn't following you is because I'm not running into that now
okay,
for
cool.
the last like 6 hours.
So it's just the intro.
Yeah.
But yes, they
There's a lot
do
of
set up
racing
the
where I'm at.
story.
Cool.
And
Sorry, I
then
wasn't trying to
after
bash
that,
it. I was just saying it was a little much.
I think you're being defensive. I think we're all in agreeing
No.
with what you're saying. But
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think the beginning is the story, and then after that, you kind of get into the rhythm of what the game is, and it's story, but it's more talking while you're
Yeah.
driving. There is no like cutscenes or anything. Like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So basically, Tim is saying he hates anime, is what Tim's saying.
Yeah.
I wish it was more
Racing.
anime, to be honest. I wish it would lean more into it being anime.
I was
like
actually
that
thinking
spray
that
paint.
too, Kyle. 'cause I was playing
Instead,
it right,
it's more. Yeah. Instead, it's kind
I
of
was
more like
playing
West
it
Coast.
right before the show, and I
You know
was
what?
like,
You know what it reminds me of? At least some of the style. Maybe not the characters, but some of the style reminds me of that Jet Set Radio.
Sure.
Yeah, it does. Like the
Little bit
the
of that spray
actual like
painting,
characters,
cel-shaded
even the spray
sort
paint,
of.
but even like the spray paint culture and all that stuff. Just like
Yeah.
street culture and everything like that. It's steeped in that, and I kind of wish it were more anime. Like where it's
Yeah.
I agree.
like Initial D. Like or
Yeah,
something like
Initial
that.
D. Exactly.
I do like how the city looks and everything, and
Yeah,
the
me too.
cars look realistic. But I was thinking about it. I was like, well, the only thing that separates this from Need for Speed Heat is literally just the little anime like cloud from my car and the lights and stuff. That's it. Everything else is just like Need for
pretty much
Speed
the same.
Heat. So
Mhm.
I was a little
Yep.
bummed about that.
I played a little bit, probably through the first couple of areas of Return to Monkey Island. Since it's on Game Pass, I wanted to try it out at least. I just really am not in the mood for a point-and-click adventure with tons and tons of talking, and that is that. It's totally fine if that's the kind of game I'm going to play. It's probably one of the better versions of a point-and-click adventure with great dialogue. It's
definitely
excellently
is.
written. It's very funny. I just, this happens where it's like I just don't want to play this kind of game.
Yeah.
So it's not it was not a knock on the
Not
game.
the current flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
not a knock on the
powered
game
through
at all.
it because I've mainly played it on the deck, and it
Oh,
plays way
okay.
better on the deck.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it's
very- I mean,
something
so
about
funny,
it playing with a
but-
controller is like way better.
Yeah.
Playing it the way it was originally made with like a keyboard and mouse is just not as interesting to me anymore.
Yeah, clicking to move is actually a little annoying, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was very pleased with that game. It's not like top 10 material or nothing, but I went into it kind of going, I'm probably just going to quit this after a couple chapters. And then I just saw it all the way through. I was just like, you know what? I'm near the end. Why might as well.
I go through phases where I want to play those games. I'll even go back and revisit old Sierra games. And so this is one at the
Yeah.
top of my list when I am in that mode, but I'm just not there at the
Mhm.
moment. But I did play through a bunch of the Vampire Survivors DLC, Legacy of the Moonspell. That game freaking rocks, man. I love Vampire Survivors, and the DLC is just more fun stuff. I went through the new level and unlocked the new character and all that kind of stuff. But you can sometimes barely tell you're fighting a boss because there's so many enemies on screen. You're like, oh, you just killed a boss? I did? I didn't even know he was there. Like sometimes it's just so overwhelmed
yeah,
with enemies.
Yeah.
But
a lot of noise on that screen.
a lot of noise. But that game is just awesome. They had some new weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, it's totally worth $1.
Game of the year. That's what we're trying to say here. Is it's our game of the year? For us.
Yeah.
All right, let's back up a little.
All right.
That game is
hold on, Dale. Hold
has
on.
no right to be as fun as it is. But,
Sure,
so those are some of Derek and my quick hits. Anybody else stuff you're playing?
I
before we-
only played like an hour or so of all the new games. That's all I got this.
Okay.
Well, aside from movies and stuff.
Yeah. Just
I
finishing
I installed The Witcher 3. I need to tweak my settings because my rig is definitely more mid compared to some of the setups on the show here. So I need to tweak my settings so it runs more smoothly, but I'm very excited to dive back into that world. Because like Derek
Are
said,
you
as soon as
gonna upgrade your PC, or are you not caring?
it's going to
about
be a little
that?
while. We're buying a house, so it's going to be a bit
Oh,
before I
yeah.
have cash flow.
I mean,
Um,
personally, I'd buy a PC before I buy a house, but whatever. You do you, bro.
We live different lives, I think.
We live differently.
Very much so.
Derek will
Yeah.
buy an 8K television before he buys it.
And live inside of it.
I
only-
will buy a second 8K.
I only
TV.
traded one of my
yeah.
kids for it. It's a great deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, like, I agree with what he said. When it fired up, I was like, this is why this game was an instant classic, like in my top 5 games all time after I wrapped it up. Like, it's so
Agreed.
good. So, anyway,
It's either
Anybody
one
else?
or two for me.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up Ragnarok, and then I actually yesterday started streaming Miles Morales, which is I haven't touched it since it first came out.
Christmas.
Oh, really? You haven't replayed
Yeah.
it or anything?
You haven't
Did you
beat
get
it?
the platinum?
No, I beat it originally, but I'm saying
okay.
this
That's
is my
interesting.
second
Yeah.
my second
'Cause
playthrough. Yeah,
It's like one of 2 games I got a platinum on because I was like, you know what? It's short enough. I'll just replay it and get all the
Yeah.
stupid.
I just did
trophy.
one
I,
playthrough also.
I have
Yeah.
the platinum of the first one, just not of
Oh,
this one,
nice.
but I have like 72% of the trophies or something like that, so I have like obviously most of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just great vibes, and I was playing it yesterday. I was like, this is fantastic, and
That game is it's a Christmas game, dude. It's straight up.
yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah,
it's just really
yeah,
fun.
that intro is great.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
played
a
it
really
on
fun
PC
game,
when
and,
they launched it. It was
Yeah.
great.
and like yeah, it's just chatting with people was actually pretty easy while just kind of dodging and stuff. Like it was just really fun and
Yeah.
just a good time. So
Did you tell the
it's-
people in your chat I said hi?
no, they
They're
never
all-
want to see your face ever again. To be honest,
Yeah,
I
heard that
thought they
went
were a
super
fan
well.
of me. I thought we
no,
were like,
no, not at all.
tell them I said
It's-
hi.
I heard they had nothing but
I
compliments
won't.
for what you were wearing.
Yeah.
Kippy asked the next day. She's like, "Is that bad
Kippy
word
was
here
crushing
again?"
on me.
No, she wasn't. She hates
She
you.
was crushing.
Well,
She
that
hates
is-
That's what girls do, Dan.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
what they do.
We
I'm
all
so
see the
happy I
world
was
how
there
we
for
want to
that.
see
I'm
it, I
just
guess.
so
We
happy.
all
Kyle, what anything else you're playing besides? I mean, you talked about at the beginning some of the newer games you tried out, but anything else?
I
you're
played a
playing?
little bit of The Witcher just in terms of old stuff, Yeah, I mean, it looks great, man. It's just one of the best games, like you were saying. So can't wait to play a little more of that. But I'm trying to like not let that consume me right now.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, is
Very
anybody
easy.
planning on trying to like play another playthrough?
I started up a whole earlier this year. I started up a whole game for the PS5, so like a new playthrough. So like I'm
Gotcha.
to the point where you get to Skellige, and I'm at Skellige now.
Oh, that's a good way into
So
that
like
game.
I wanted to start the PS5 like on that island, and I was
Yeah.
gonna really like buckle in and do that island. So.
I want to
Yeah.
do that because I never got to the DLC, so I want to like reacquaint myself with the game again, just because I just played it that one time. Just the one
That's
stuff.
actually where I'm at in my PC. Well, now it's my PC playthrough. My ported playthrough. I'm in the. I beat the game the second time, and now I'm in the beginning of. Is it Hearthstone?
Hearts of Stone.
Hearts of
Hearts of
Stone.
Stone.
So,
So I'm in the beginning of Hearts of Stone. So I want to do Hearts of Stone and then go into a new wine
Blood
or
and Wine.
whatever.
Blood and Wine.
What-
Yeah,
new
they
wine.
they
That's
do
why.
have the that cool option at the beginning too, where you can start with gear that is set to go for each of those DLCs. If you just want to jump right into those, you don't have to play through
oh, cool.
the entire game. They do have that option right at the menu if you have the whatever. If you have those DLCs purchased, which by the way, the complete edition of Witcher 3 is always on such steep sale.
It's like
Yeah.
$10
Like
right now on I think GOG's. That's for PC. It's on sale $30 on consoles.
Yeah,
But I'm sure you can get it cheaper, like if you go to GameStop or something like that.
Yep. All right, well, let's wrap it up with some things that we are watching. I just wanted to shout out again a great recommendation from Jeff on the Banshees of Inisherin. What a freaking movie that is!
Banshees
I watched
of
that too.
Ed Sheeran.
Not Ed
Yeah.
Sheeran. Inisherin.
Ed Sheeran,
Inisherin. How do you say it?
I have
I'm
no
not-
idea
I'm not
what y'all are
Irish.
talking about.
I'm not Irish, so I can't pronounce it well. But Brendan Fraser.
It's a
and
made-up
Paul-
island, so that's fine.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have known.
he invented like an Irish island for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brendan Fraser and Colin Farrell are just brilliant in this very kind of offbeat, wasn't expecting it at all type of a movie. I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect that. It's just a very simple concept in a very small setting that is just played out.
It feels like
really well.
this is the phrase I use for those type of small intimate movies. It feels like a COVID movie. Like it feels like
Yeah.
a movie born out of COVID
Yeah.
and made in COVID restrictions. But in a good, like, you don't really know to look for that type of stuff
Yeah.
when the story is so good. It's not until after the fact that you're like, I think COVID has something to do with the small setting and stuff like that,
I just wanted to call it out too because I don't usually want to see movies where I'm going like the storyline makes me kind of uncomfortable just because it feels kind of real and gritty and like
Oof,
it's
yeah.
just uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But when it's done so well, I'm still just like, dude, that was great. Even though
Yeah.
the storyline, just beat for beat, if you look at like the plot, I was like, that's uncomfortable to me. I don't want to see a story about two friends who aren't friends anymore, and there's a lot of tension, so much tension, and it's just like that bothers me because I hate conflict, and I can relate to both sides where one side is like pleading and wanting to stay as a friend, and the other side is like, no, I'm done. Like that's rough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just really well done.
I think
So-
my favorite scene too, because the whole story is about this guy trying to achieve his own version of enlightenment, and that's why he's abandoning his friend, right? To be like, I'm not being 100% myself because you're holding me back as a friend. But then the moment where his sister is like kind of defending him, like you're being an asshole for unfriending him, basically in real life. That's what it is. It's unfriending him in real life.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't even know the facts about Mozart, right? Is it Mozart that he's
Yeah, he got the
fawning
year
over?
wrong. He got the
And
year
that's
wrong.
like the like
And we got the century
that's
wrong.
like the heart of the movie for me is like this guy doesn't even know what he's doing. Like, and that's like kind of, I don't know. That's why I kind of took away this movie as like a giant metaphor for social media and like how people are so quick, that myself included, just remove people from their lives completely.
Yeah, you
for some
grandstand on
type
what
of
you
justified
decide is
cause,
truth. Yep.
that they feel
Well, even
is
like
worthy. And it's like you're abandoning people that don't have anywhere else to turn, and that you see that can end up for the worse in some characters. Some side characters tragedies play out and stuff. Like it's just, yeah, dude.
it's the same
got
thing
layers,
in the dating world. I was talking about it last week, and I was talking to some people, and I was like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about red flags. And all that means is I see one thing I don't like, and that means that person's not good enough for me, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And we're getting rid of people so fast. And a
Yeah.
lot of times it's made up crap in our head that we're saying about somebody that
Sure.
isn't even really true.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, now that I figured out what movie you're talking about, where did you watch it on?
HBO Max
HBO.
just added it last week.
Oh, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have it.
I don't
It was
know
good.
if you'll
I liked
be
it a lot.
thrilled by the pacing, Derek. It's a little slower, but
You might like it, man. If you just go into
You
it,
guys
like,
have not figured me out.
I haven't.
I'm not
I really
predictable.
haven't.
Yeah,
You-
there's not a lot of consistency, so it's
You
hard
might
to-
like it.
Thanks,
Can't
Kyle,
put him in a box. You can't put.
That sounds like Kyle and I are dating, because that sounds like somebody I know.
I mean,
Not a lot of
it's
consistency.
it's a really interesting. I mean, to me, it's like a modern day allegory, basically, and I really
Yeah.
liked it. So I liked the moral of the story, kind of like that. The allegory has a message and a moral behind it, and I thought
Yeah.
this was
Right.
very strong in that film. So
And
You
how-
said
how did the
Fraser?
Brendan Fraser, no, not Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Gleeson?
Brendan
Colin-
Gleeson.
Okay, I thought you said
Brendan
Fraser.
Fraser's
I
in a
did.
fat
I
suit in the
misspoke.
yeah.
It's Brendan.
Gotcha.
Brendan Fraser's going to win an Oscar this year, guys. Let's celebrate now.
Shout out to
Whale.
Brendan
Um,
Fraser.
Was that whale movie?
Yeah. I can't wait to see that. Dude.
That got a lot
I'm
of
gonna
hate
be a
because
mess.
that did
I'm gonna be a
because
mess.
he got
watching that
fat, and they didn't
Well,
like
put on
that.
a fat suit.
The movie's about depression, not
No,
being
he's fat,
not
though,
being
too.
fat. Like it's
he
so
still put on the
stupid.
fat suit too, I think.
He did. He had to.
Yeah.
But like the ending was the thing that really stuck with me the most, and I'm curious. I'll probably keep asking you guys like maybe 2-3 weeks from now. Like, are you still thinking about that ending? Because I still think about that ending.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Up
It's
this Banshees movie, or
yeah,
Banshees
the Banshees
movie.
oh,
movie,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's just it's a thinking movie, and
Yeah.
it also it's there's a few movies. There's actually a few shows even that have done this that make you want to kind of go visit a place. Like I've always loved that setting. So the setting to
yeah,
me is
dude.
very interesting. The midnight shoot, what's it called? What's that one? Not the club one that was just out this year. Here's one
Midnight
from last-
Mass then?
Midnight Mass. Thank
Oh,
you.
Yeah.
Mass.
Like a similar setting, small island, kind of secluded.
Yeah.
Like
I do
like
like
that-
that.
that
You
And they
get
have
to know
a-
everybody. You get to know all the
Yes.
ancillary.
They have an
characters and
actual
stuff
like
Yes.
war going on.
yes.
Like across the pond, so to speak, literally across the pond. And I love the whole like, okay, we're not friends anymore, but you literally have to run into each other because it's such a small island.
Dude, it's
like every
it'd be
single
like
day,
telling
like
someone,
3
it's
times a
like
day.
telling someone in your house
Yeah.
who you're gonna
Yeah.
see at the kitchen table
Sure.
that we're not friends
I never
anymore.
want to talk to
It's-
you again. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but you're unavoidable, so it's
But-
very
but,
interesting.
Kyle, did it hit you pretty good, this movie? Like,
Yeah,
you
big
liked this
time.
one?
Yeah, I
Okay.
took a lot away from it, just in terms of just social aspects and stuff like that, of
Yeah.
even how I see people act, how I act, and everything like that, and just it's really something. And I just love the parallels between the war and their personal war between the two guys. Like Colin Farrell will say stuff like, I wonder if they even know what they're fighting about over there, and it's
Yeah.
like, that's you guys, you two are like that right now. It's just
Yeah.
cool. There's a lot of cool parallels in that movie.
I agree.
Yep.
And Barry Cogan or whatever, he's
wonderful.
He's just amazing in the movie, and the sister too. I think the sister might win an Oscar for that role. Like,
Well,
yeah.
you guys
Holy
sold
shit,
me.
man.
I'm gonna watch it. The next movie I was gonna watch actually was Avatar. So
Nope, bump
thank
it.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I would
Also,
still.
just-
You're still planning on seeing it though, right?
Avatar.
What, the second Avatar?
Yeah, the set in the theater in 3D.
Yeah, I watched the first one with like my mom and dad when I was younger, and
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. I think I'm gonna watch.
You'll be
the
fine.
first one, and then
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Doesn't matter.
About
you need
water.
to do a deep dive in the lore. For
Get
the
it?
next
Deep
week and a
dive
half.
because of water.
It's not
Oh,
much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get
Dan-
it, yeah.
Dan gets
it's
me.
it's
Dan
gonna
gets
be a shallow
But,
pool, but it's a deep.
That's
dive.
what's really funny is like how deep the water goes, but how shallow the story is. It's really funny.
Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Also,
There's the joke.
also added to
Heard.
HBO Max this week was Black Adam, which I finally watched. Actually, just
That's
watched
so
it.
Really?
Just watched it today.
Yeah.
They just added that.
They just
Yeah,
added
I
it
know.
to HBO
I
Max.
can't believe it didn't get like added and then
Ju-
canceled the same day.
Just in time. Yeah, just in time for everything DC to be canceled. So
yeah, exactly.
they're like, here's
So-
this movie that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Damn,
Remember
dude.
all the
Can you
hurdles
believe that?
Remember all
This-
the hurdles that The Rock jumped through to get this one character
Yeah.
back? Well,
Yep.
that doesn't matter
Yeah, that's
anymore.
Yeah, this
done.
movie is gonna
Yeah.
kind of be like the Ed Norton Hulk movie for MCU.
Yeah.
It's like, well, kind of happened, but
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
Actually,
It's a pretty good
DC
thing.
already had this happen. They had it happen on Green Lantern. So it's basically DC's Green Lantern all over.
well, I
again.
think this is better than
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
Oh no, for sure. But I just mean in terms of
yeah.
like
Hey,
they set up,
I
they
like
set up
Green
so
Lantern.
much with that movie. Like
Okay.
Sinestro is going to be evil in the next movie, and then nothing paid off. Like
I
it's
gotcha.
just so funny.
Yeah, no. Overall, I thought it was you guys already described it. I just wanted to kind of back you up on the fact that it's a fun romp that has plenty of problems. Like it's nowhere near like the best
I
superhero movie,
enjoyed
and
it.
but it's a fun romp. That's kind of been my experience with superhero movies and shows all year. Really,
Yeah,
it's been mostly
this year's
just
been
fun,
a
but
Weird ride.
not a whole
Just
lot
get
of
rid
like.
of the kid. It would have been good.
Yeah, the kid is the major problem.
That kid
in
is
this movie.
pretty
He
terrible.
was
Very
bad, and when he
problematic
makes
for me,
that
though.
speech,
Was
that
bad.
inspirational speech at the end was really awful. But
It was awful.
A
and
bunch
then,
of townspeople.
then they all
thought
call for the diamond
the-
cutter. They're all
the army. Yeah, the diamond cutter. Yeah. I just like how a bunch of nobodies
diamond
were
cutter.
fighting back like the armies of hell. I'm like, get out of here with
Yeah,
all
I
of
know.
this.
It is so funny that he
Sorry, and that's
rallied-
not spoilers. It's stupid. It's a different S word.
But it's the
Right,
same with any of those movies, right? I mean, like Transformers, for example. It's like you have all these badass robots fighting each other, and then you have these dumb Shia LaBeouf
Yeah.
like nonsense
no,
things.
yeah,
happening.
no.
Like,
Those
Get
are
out-
all the
we gotta
problems with
get
those
away,
movies
we gotta
too.
Evacuate. Get out.
Yeah.
Why are we watching?
Like,
this?
remember there's
We-
army
I
people
agree
in
with
the
y'all's take. They just get rid of the humans. We
in
don't
the
need
Transform.
It's like
I know.
Godzilla
can we
versus
stop-
King Kong too.
No one cares about the humans in any
Yeah.
of these stories. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
like, stop it. I don't need a story about a mom and her kid. Like, just make a story about gods like killing each other. Like, that's all. That's
Yeah,
mere-
yeah.
I said this in chat.
I
But
know Man of Steel had like, his parents and stuff like that, but that's why I loved Man of Steel is because
It
it
makes sense
really
for Superman's
felt,
character.
yeah, but it really felt like it was gods fighting each other, and that was the best part of the movie, especially
action in
when
that
they
movie was
all
great.
broke out and started killing, like beating the crap out of each
it's
other.
like a Dragon Ball Z movie, dude. That movie. I
Yeah,
love
it was
that
pretty
movie.
much
Man
a-
of Steel is
Dragon Ball Z
still my
fight, yeah.
favorite. It's still my favorite.
I did not know much about Black Adam outside of the fact that I know The Rock loves it and has been wanting to make this movie for like 30 years. Okay. So he finally made it. But I didn't really know much of the lore of it. And then I had no idea it was so closely tied to Shazam. It makes sense. Obviously the big
Yeah.
giant lightning bolt, it should have been
Mhm.
I should have known that just by looking at it. I just thought it was like repetitive design. I'll be honest. I thought it was repetitive. Like I
I
had
mean,
no idea.
in
it
a
was
way,
connected.
you're right because drawing cells back in the day was expensive. So like
yeah.
being able to reuse like stuff like
That's a
that
good
like
point.
does speed up stuff.
So-
So
Oh yeah, that's a good
It's like
point.
Mortal
In a
Kombat
way, I
having
mean-
this.
But I
12
didn't know it
different
was
colored ninjas.
yeah,
It's
your
like-
variants have been
tied
around
in-
before fighting game characters. Yeah,
right at the beginning of the movie, the power of the wizard from Shazam and the word Shazam is a key component in this story. I had no idea. So I was just kind of like, oh. And then so I looked some stuff up. It turns out that the original plan apparently was to have Shazam and Black Adam introduced together, and maybe even have them be enemies in one movie or part of one movie, and then have to team up at some point to kind of show. It was going to look like, the way they described it sounded very Daredevil Punisher from the Daredevil Netflix show, and then eventually maybe
Which
do
was
a
awesome. That was
which was
great.
amazing. And then
Yeah.
they had a Punisher spinoff, which told, I thought, a great separate story. Like, it allowed us to like get introduced to him and then spin off to his story. Boy, I would have loved that for this. Like, if Black Adam had already been a villain in Shazam, but kind of was not totally bad and turned good, maybe like whatever that looked like in the first Shazam
Sure.
could have looked like. Maybe this movie would have been like.
Yeah.
dude,
That might be what they do now. I mean,
I think it's done now, but I could be wrong.
no. I'm saying like with redoing all of this DC stuff, like this new universe.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
You're
yeah, that'd be
right.
cool.
Um,
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And like Superman's tied up in those two guys too, right? Isn't it like usually the three of them messing with each other? Like, I think.
Superman.
I'm
they
not
got
sure
Hen-
about comics, but
That's Henry Cavill's last official appearance as Superman, by the way, is in the credits
Yeah.
of.
well, at least he'll be fine. You know, at least he got another
He'll be-
passion project for him to
He'll
leave.
be all right. The last thing I wanted to mention was I did laugh during the final fight scene. I was like, I'm not trying to be negative because I overall did enjoy the movie. I really did. I thought it was
I
a
did
fun
too.
movie. It wasn't
You
like it
can
was a.
still
All of us
nitpick
sound
something
like
and like
we
it.
enjoyed
lot
But
to
when
say
it
about
when it got to the
Yeah.
final fight, I actually kind of started chuckling. I was like, this looks like dollar store versions of Storm, Ant-Man,
Yeah.
Falcon, and Professor X mixed with like Doctor Strange a little bit. I was like, I don't know. It felt like it just felt unoriginal, that final fight. It looked good, but I was just kind of like, I've seen all this already. Now,
Yeah.
they might have been around. I was thinking this too. I was like, they might have had the head start in the comics. Like maybe Marvel ripped them off. I don't know the history of comics.
They
and who came
both
with
ripped
what.
each other off all the
I,
time.
I,
so,
I
yeah,
hear you,
that's
but I'm just
ridiculous.
saying
Exactly.
they're at a disadvantage because the MCU introduced all this stuff
Oh,
and it
yeah.
got to feel fresh and new. And then I saw this and
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen that. I've seen
I
that.
think that's why the James Gunn and the other guy taking over DC is a good thing because like
Yeah.
MCU is so freaking far ahead of them in terms of
Yeah.
developing a cohesive narrative through multiple movies and shows.
Yeah.
They have to have somebody come in and be like,
Yeah.
guys, we can't just do samey bullcrap anymore.
Well, they're
You
saying
know,
they
like-
want to do young Superman, right? So they even gonna like go,
He's
turn,
gonna start
turn it
as a
back,
reporter and like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and like build
Yeah,
up.
but now-
like-
I was
now we're starting
wondering
with, like,
why.
Starting all over again, though. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I was wondering why you would get rid of Henry Cavill, even though you're, you're coming in with like new bosses or whatever. I'm like, he's still the perfect Superman. But if they are going
he's
like,
great.
hey, we're clearing this out,
Still
we're
looks
going
like
origin
Superman.
story,
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
I
they're
think there's
getting
just
like
a lot
a
of baggage,
20-year-old out of
man.
college, basically. That's
Yeah,
what-
yeah. There just seems like there's a lot of baggage with like trying to reuse some, and it's bad news for all these other actors who haven't been fired yet. Like your Gal Gaddets and your
Jason Momoa.
Jason
I mean,
Momoa.
you already
like,
had the
they're
perfect
probably
Harley
all
Quinn.
going.
And what's going to happen with Margot? I mean, she's literally the perfect Harley Quinn. So
It's gonna be obviously it's gonna be Lady Gaga now.
yeah,
Jeff.
I know, right? That freaking movie.
All right.
That is going to be one hell of a swan song for that DC bull crap that we've been.
I'm
She
so
will,
over it. Yeah, I'm so.
She'll be Barbie. She'll be
a
fine.
freaking musical.
Get her poker face out of my goddamn
She gets to
face.
be
Gosh.
Margot gets to be Barbie. She'll be fine.
She gets to be
Um,
part-
Can't wait.
Yeah, the new Barbie franchise that we get
Can't.
5 new
wait.
movies of that.
I don't know why I'm doing that.
All right, guys, let's
Just
wrap
very
things
excited.
up with Avatar: The Whirlwind of Water. The way of
This is how you end.
woo
Yeah,
woo.
it's Avatar the WoW. Let's be real.
Oh, it's Avatar: World of Warcraft. So,
the Avatar the
Ah,
WoW.
yes.
So I
Jeff's the
think
only one that's seen this so far, right?
yes, I think so. Because who else has 4 hours or whatever they can carve out for
So
the
don't
for the-
spoil the story, Jeff.
There's not much to spoil. So
That's a spoiler right there.
my favorite part is when like Jason Bateman and Maya Rudolph are laughing with Will Arnett. Oh, that's Murderville.
I watched that
Great
today.
movie.
You watched that? It's so
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? It's
good,
so
yeah.
good.
Good movie. It's good.
Yeah, that's go watch the Murderville Christmas special. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Even
The Myrtleville. I haven't seen this Christmas special, but the show is so hilarious.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say this is the funniest version of the Who Did It that they've done so far.
And by the way, I think Marshawn Lynch might have been my favorite guest out of all of those.
Well,
I like
you're
all of
gonna love this Christmas special.
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
All right, so go ahead.
So like when they were like solving who did it, none of the actors that were guessing who did it like were game to actually guess who did it. It's so funny, dude. They like totally flipped it on its head, and Will Arnett and even the person that he was standing next to were like, seriously? Like they were all laughing.
Oh, actually, no, I take it back. Marshall Lynch was a surprise, but Conan O'Brien was my favorite. But anyway,
Yeah.
Of course. He knows
I
what
like
he's doing.
Kumail's episode too. It was great. So the story in this is really it's one sentence. The Earth dwellers, whatever you want to call them, they call them the Na'vi, call them sky people.
Just humans.
Yeah, humans have
Call them
come
humans.
back
Let's call them
and they've come back for retribution against Sully, and that's the story for 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Isn't Sully a good guy? Like, isn't he a Na'vi now?
So Sully is full blown
From Uncharted.
He is integrated into his Na'vi avatar.
So why are they going to kill people on his behalf?
They're going after Sully for.
Oh, they're
betraying.
going at. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, they're
Wait,
going
so
after
Sully
Sully for
from
betraying
Uncharted,
humans.
or are we talking about Uncharted, or
Yeah, that's
Not
Sully.
confused. This is already amazingly
Christ.
confusing. We don't need to do this right now.
we don't need to
Wait,
do
wait. Mark Wahlberg is in this?
Marky Mark.
Might have been better having him heavy breathing after every take underwater.
What are we
Hey,
doing?
guys, how we
It's
doing?
It's
So,
Transformers. Look at
this
these
is not-
Transformers.
This has been in the press and that has been in the trailers. Stephen Lang, is that the actor?
Mhm.
Stephen
Yeah.
Lang's character is back.
Somehow.
Okay.
There is an explanation for it that is extremely stupid.
He took a lot of arrows to the chest, did that guy?
But he
But
is
alright.
the main villain again, and it's
He's
the
such a
same.
good actor, though. I
It's
like
the
him.
same thing
I
of
him
like
too, yeah.
he's great, but like it's the same thing of like we got to go get Sully. Like we got to get this guy. We got to kill him.
I still love when he's sitting there
It's the same
sipping his
story.
coffee as they blow
So-
up the magic tree.
You're gonna, dude. You're gonna love. I don't know. I don't think James Cameron has a self-awareness about how funny it is to watch people drink coffee in this movie when they're in avatar form. I don't think he meant to do it as a joke, but there are people that like. There's somebody in a mech suit and she's using the mech arm to hold her coffee while she's drinking.
Not too much, dude.
And I'm like, James,
No,
you are,
he has to be.
No.
He
no,
has
there's
to
no
be.
way. I don't
Listen.
think he's doing it as a joke.
This
But
is
like,
Kyle
his
loves
feet. This
mechs,
is-
and if
this
he's
is
saying
his
this
feet.
too much, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
No?
there is a
Yeah.
really funny. There's a few funny parts too, where like the military guys that are now avatars. They're now in their avatars or whatever as Na'vi, so they can have better strength, be faster, and whatever.
So they don't want to be white. They
they're
don't want to
like-
be
they're
like
like-
people anymore.
They're like
wanna be
around that. No, there's an explanation, but I'm not going to spoil it. They're around just talking, planning things out, and they're drinking coffee. And I'm like, can you do that as a Na'vi? Like, wouldn't they just like shit it out like liquid? I don't. Anyway,
Jeff's
just funny.
asking the real questions.
it's just
No,
funny
they connect
watching-
their hair to the toilet, and then
they,
it goes out
they
through the
connect
hair.
their hair to the coffee and go, "This is good, man. This is a good batch." Like,
Wait, but no, the hair is their dick and vagina, so that doesn't make
It's
sense.
all of it, man. It also
the
connects
hair
to
is
their
everything.
horses.
They use
It's
the
how
hair. The hair.
Oh
is-
yeah,
banging- they're banging
they
their
do plug it
horses,
into the
guys.
horses,
they
don't
plug
they?
it
No,
into
they
the
plug it into everything.
dragons. They plug
yeah,
it in.
Yeah.
they plug it into. It's an Ethernet cable. They plug it into literally everything.
It's an
So,
Ethernet.
yeah, that's the
Wi-Fi,
story.
exactly
you
what
weird
it-
natives.
Yeah, just get Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they plug it into plants and trees and shit.
But
So
Kyle, if you hardwire, it's faster. So it's
It
faster
is,
than
that is
Wi-Fi.
true.
It's always true. Yeah.
I plug my phone in hardwired. See? No, don't look.
There you go.
So I will say that from the opening like 2 minutes, the visuals just absolutely blew me away. Like I can't recall the last time I went into a movie theater, and especially in a 3D movie, and had my stupid glasses on, and I was just like, whoa! Like I just couldn't even eat because I was so surprised how good it looked. Like, it's been forever since I've seen a movie look that stunning and brave. But no, for real, it was stunning. Like seriously, it's I sound like one of the Avatar cucks now, but it's legit. You can't replicate it at home, and that's really crappy to have to say that because you should just make your movie good on any screen. But there's something really special about going and seeing it in 3D and the high frame rate. I think it's 120 FPS.
Jeez.
I know some people are going to cream over that in another gaming group that we're associated with. 120.
Oh my god.
But
No, but I do want to throw this in
So,
there. I think it's
Can
fair
you
to
only
say,
see this
Jeff, it's
movie
fair
in
to say when a
3D?
movie is better on a theater screen. Like Top Gun, you guys have
It's
said
true,
that, like it's okay. It's okay for a
but
movie
there
to
are
be
some
better.
people
On
that
a,
are like, no, you haven't seen it unless you saw it
I
behind
know.
the Burger King on a big screen when you gave blood, and then you're given like an STD, and then you got to do this, and you got like just
What kind of
say
theater is this?
No, but I think that's not
What a thing.
gatekeeping to say this is an amazing 3D large screen movie
Okay.
experience.
I just
it's not
don't. Yeah, I don't want it to be perceived as like
No.
you're not seeing it correctly if you
No.
don't see it.
Sure.
on
It's just
big
that's the
screen.
best. The same with Top Gun.
An
I-
enhanced
I
experience.
miss Top Gun on the big screen. It's a bummer, but I
Yeah.
will watch it at home here next week when it's out on Paramount. I'm very excited to
Oh,
watch
is
it.
it next week?
And it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
it's not like the movie's going to be bad for me. I understand that. Boy, this
No.
is way cooler.
No, I think
like
in
you-
fact it'll help. It'll as you finish it, you'll be like, yeah, I should have seen that in theaters because you'll recognize the spectacle on your
Yeah.
TV. Like you'll see it. You'll get the sense of the spectacle.
Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, so like I've never seen somebody be able to figure out the motion smoothing bull crap. You know, the soap opera effect that you get when you do a high frame rate.
oh,
So like that's what high frame rate means is like you have a tendency to get a soap opera type of motion smooth effect. But James Cameron somehow figured it out to where that's not in the movie.
Hmm.
Like so instead you're just getting this amazing picture that is just unparalleled. Like there were several points where like the Na'vi are just talking to each other and there's like flies just as part of nature that are just flying around them as they're talking, and it felt like that was right in front of my face, and I was just like doing this. I haven't had a 3D this experience this immersive in like ever, and I feel
Can
like
you
I'm
only see this movie in 3D?
no, you can see it in regular.
Okay.
That's fine.
I just
they got-
didn't know if James Cameron was being really stuck up about this movie
No,
and be like,
he
I have
is-
to see it.
He is
in
being
3D.
pretty adamant about the 3D's got to be in every theater, at least on every screen, like at least one screen or whatever. That's his stipulations, but it paid off,
all right.
man.
So
I mean,
Jeff, you didn't. The movie story and characters is what you expected. So unfortunately, it's not like it
Yeah. surprised
surprised you in a good way there. But the visuals were great.
man, if
talk-
this doesn't win Best Visual like effects at the Oscars, I may even be upset, and I did not anticipate myself saying that.
So I mean, so you're, for you, it sounds like it's landing like better than I thought, but still not.
It's
personally
on
super
par with the
high.
first one for me because with the first one, even though the story was derivative, at least there was one. At least there was a story that was like, oh, this is interesting, and they're explaining the world and they're explaining the technology and stuff like that. This one, I feel like none of the technology is explained. They even kind of gloss over the fact that there's this new element that they're after. They just like rush over. Oh,
Unobtained.
there's this new element.
It's
and
called
here's the benefits.
Hard to Getium.
No, they didn't give it a title actually. Those were actually really smart of them to not do that.
Non-existium.
Non-existent. Yeah.
They called it whale jizzium. No.
Because they're at the sea,
Everywhere.
right? And the sea is like 70%
Gallons of it.
firm.
But it's like this new element that they're after, but it's like a one sentence throwaway line as to why humans are doing what they're doing on that planet.
I mean, the first
And I'm
movie
like,
did the
wait,
same thing.
we're
So-
2.5 hours in the movie and you just revealed that? Are you serious? Like it was kind of crazy.
So this is basically a middle, like, or not, or even the third one's also like a middle. These are like two movies that are a middle movie because there's supposed to be 5, right? So
Yeah.
like 2 and 3 are going to be like what, essentially the middle movies that
Middle,
are just
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, this movie ends on a
Dang,
cliffhanger.
we're not getting 5 movies.
I mean,
Not
That's
He
the one
filmed
thing
I
I'm
it
don't
excited
care
about,
what
though.
that delusional man says.
He's
He's not
70
getting
guys.
five.
Like it took him 13 years to make this movie.
Yeah,
like
I
he
know,
doesn't
it's
have
insane.
he doesn't have 3 more
He's
movies.
filmed
gonna
2 to-
die
He
before
filmed 2 and 3 back
it.
to back. He filmed 2 and 3 back to
All
back.
right, so we got to
We
wrap
got
this
it.
up. But
Films
Jeff,
over
let me
there?
ask you this: did it feel like over 3 hours long? Even as someone who's not a big fan of the
There
franchise,
are
or were you kind of
this-
like,
Did
oh,
it drag?
there's at least half an hour that could have been cut. There is a whale. They're not whales, but they're Pandora's version of whales. There's a whale hunting sequence that goes on way too freaking long. And every comment I've seen on like Reddit and stuff was like, man, that was so powerful. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was too freaking long. Like, just kill the whale and move on. Jesus Christ.
Jeff,
But
you
instead,
have,
it's
you
like,
have a
okay,
bad
put the nail in.
perspective.
Okay, now we got to do this. Now we got to do this. And now we got, and it's like a 20-minute sequence. And I'm like, just kill the freaking thing. Oh my God, dude.
Just kill the freaking.
That sounds horrible, but
that's like the
sound-
opposite of the PETA people.
I'm sure they'll have something to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another
How
scene
dare you
too
kill that fake creature?
all the stuff where like so the premise with Sully being hunted now by the humans that have come back, he's like, okay, I got to leave the forest and so that's where they end up with the water-based tribe, which is a totally new tribe we haven't really seen before in the Avatar movie, the first
So
one.
are they slightly different hue of?
So they have like a different skin tone. Their tail and hands are different because they've evolved around the water as a species.
Oh, sure.
So like There's all the Dances with Wolves stuff that they did still include in this one, where everybody, Sully has kids now, like 5 or 6. It's crazy. And they're all
Dude's been busy.
they're all learning literally the way of the Water Tribe. Hence the title of the movie. And that stuff went on way too long. Like, we've seen this before in so many other movies. Move on. Like, like, seriously.
So he probably extended. He released what could have been the extended edition for
He
super
extended
fans.
some scenes just to be like, look how good I shot this.
But I mean,
movie.
like, you could have been
that's
like,
pretty
hey,
much
this is
it.
the extended edition Blu-ray special set, but he made that the main cut.
Right, exactly. Like, you could have cut it even more. And then there's like questionable stuff that happens in the third act. Like the third act, normally in the final battle, like at least in the first one, you had armies upon armies fighting each other, and it was a big spectacle. And in this one, it felt like it was going to do that, and then like one side of the army just disappears without explanation, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, you could have cut all this other stuff and left in a scene that explained where the hell everybody went. But instead, we're just left with Sully and his family and the finale, basically. And you're like, where'd the other guys go? It's really, there's some stuff like that, too. And also, his kids say bro every other line. Every other word.
God damn it.
And I'm like, how did Navi learn bro? I don't understand.
That's the word they grabbed onto.
Yes, they say bro so much.
They're such an intellectual species.
I know.
All right, well, that
So those
should
are
do
my
it for this
criticisms,
week.
But if you're going to this movie expecting, and you like the first one,
Yeah.
it's a spectacle again. So if you like the first one, you're gonna like this one. And I did like the first one, and I like this one. I'm just not.
I'm still on the fence.
Best movie ever, you know? Like, I can't get on that train.
I'm on the fence because if I go, I gotta take my kids, and that's gonna cost a lot of money because 3D
No,
tickets are
no,
expensive.
you're not
so.
gonna.
Like $500.
So, but
all.
anyway, well, we got to wrap it up. But thank you guys for being on here, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Next time you see us, we'll be talking Game of the Year stuff. So buckle up, it's on the way. But thank you guys. Talk to you next time. See ya.